What's up, gamers? That one goes here. This one goes here. What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? How we doing? I hope we're all having a good one. It is Ian time. But was it always Ian time, or does it begin to be Ian time? That's the real question. What? How the hell? Okay, maybe we'll just do that. Maybe I'll have this set up like this. Yeah, one sec. Maybe it would be worthwhile to, well, I would have if not for the guest. But okay, if you're in that guest request box, make sure that you're 18 or older. I ask that you be a deist or a Christian or a Muslim or Jewish. If you're not any of those things, you're probably like a gibberator. I'm probably fine just not talking. But other than that, feel free to request to join. I ask that you have some reason to think that God exists. All right, let's go to the very first guest. Hey, how's it going?
Hello.
Yeah, how old are you?
I'm 23.
And what religion?
I'm a deist.
Yeah,
Sorry, I'm a theist.
A theist, sure. What makes you think that God exists?
Yeah. I just wanted to run some something like a cumulative argument.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah. So let me just let's start with the foundation of our experience. Okay. Let's start with consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
So are you a materialist? Do you think that matter produces consciousness?
So I think atheism is compatible with a lot of views on consciousness. I think atheism would be compatible with basically every mainstream view related to consciousness. I think you could be like an atheist and an idealist. You could be an atheist and a physicalist. You could be an atheist and a dualist. Maybe you're like an atheist and like a Russellian monist. I think we have good reason to think that physicalism is true, though. I think that the evidence related to causal closure, that all physical effects that, under certain laws of physics, like conservation of momentum, conservation of energy, that, there is all of these physical effects are going to have causes that are elsewhere in the physical system. So because there are some mental events, like, I think of what I'm about to say, and then I say it, and then there's this like physical event of my mouth moving and me speaking those words. Well, that physical effect must have a physical cause under things like conservation of momentum, conservation of energy. So it seems to be that mental events are physical.
Mental events are physical. Okay. Do you not think that the idea of like dead unconscious experienceless matter, combining in a particular way to produce consciousness is somewhat implausible?
I think you could run the same argument about computers, right? You can say, oh, you really think that when you put a bunch of this like non-calculating matter together that suddenly it just starts to calculate? Yeah, basically.
Computers. Yeah, so the reason why I wanted to start with consciousness is because according to most religions, God is a God is a mind without a brain, right? So
Yeah.
if I can establish that, yeah. So if I can establish that consciousness is dependent on, not dependent on the brain, then it opens us up to the plausibility of supernatural beings existing. Would you agree?
No, I think you would still have to overcome
No, not
you'd kind of have to overcome two things. First, you'd have to overcome like an atheistic idealism, and second, you'd have to overcome you would have to overcome as well dualism, that you just hold that there's like this separate mental and physical realm. So it seems like there are just very like, even if I'm wrong about physicalism, it just seems like at that point what I would do is adjust my physicalism to one of the other positions.
and move towards something more like idealism or panpsychism.
I think I'd probably move towards like a Russellian monism, which includes like panpsychism. Or maybe I'd be, well, yeah, I'd probably be like some sort of like Russellian monist if I was wrong about physicalism.
Okay.
So I guess I should probably try to explain these terms.
Do you mind if I call you Ian?
This is something I wish I was better at. So physicalism, of course, is the view that consciousness reduces to the brain, whereas like a Russellian monism view is something like, okay, at the foundation of reality is like these atoms, or at least the foundation of physical reality is these various particles, and then the particles just have like internal properties that are qualitative. So I would just add the qualitative stuff within like the physical stuff. So my position, even if I was wrong about just like straight physicalism, I would just adjust to be like a Russellian monist.
Okay, I see. And Ian, do you mind if I call you that? Do you mind
That's
if I call
fine.
you Ian?
I don't care.
Yeah. In a somewhat recent interview, Sam Harris, one of the new atheists, said that the intuition that matter produces consciousness is equivalent to the intuition that something can come out of nothing. Would you agree with that? He says that
No.
it's just not something that we'll ever be able to like grasp. Okay.
No. Well, not something that we'll ever be able to grasp. I think it's a bit premature for that. No. And in fact, like, so I agree that there are like some unintuitive consequences of viewing like consciousness as something that emerges from the brain. But I think all of the positions in philosophy of mind have implications that are very unintuitive. I think dualism, that there's like the view that there's like the mental substance and the physical substance, and that they like interact with each other. I think that view is like very unintuitive, the way that it makes like some leap magically from the mental stuff to the physical stuff. I think kind of all of the views have an unintuitive part to them. But I think that we have good reason to think that physicalism is true, regardless of whether or not it has unintuitive consequences.
Yeah, I totally agree with you about the dualism thing. Me personally, I lean towards something more like idealism. Ian, what do you think about the idea that the idea that matter can produce experience when arranged in a particular way is somewhat equivalent to saying that conscious states, if arranged in a particular way, for example, if you think in a specific manner, will then be able to produce matter. Would you say that these are equivalently unintuitive things? Because if you're saying that matter can
I
produce...
understand. Could you say that one more time? What are the two things that are equally unintuitive? I don't think that it's like... I don't think that it's like crazy unintuitive to think that the brain is the thing that's producing consciousness. I think that there are like other unintuitive parts of physicalism that you have to tease out. But I don't think I don't think stating the position back to me is going to be unintuitive. Like I don't find it unintuitive to think that the brain is the thing that's responsible for consciousness.
Yeah, and Sam Harris mentioned this as well. He said it's just, he says that some people just find it unintuitive, and so it might just be like a person, idiosyncratic thing. But for me personally, I find it really difficult to believe that, experienceless unconscious matter, the same things that make up our tables, chairs, and stuff like the rocks, when arranged in a particular way, suddenly gives rise to sensation. I feel like, do you know who Alex O'Connor is?
Yeah, I do. However, I mean,
Yeah,
I don't think that your personal incredulity is a good reason for me to change my mind. You just saying like, I don't find your view of consciousness intuitive. I don't know. Like that's not very compelling to me.
he,
Do you have like a different argument that you were
yeah,
hoping to
yeah,
run or?
I get what you're saying, but like to a certain extent, all of our beliefs uh, they bottle out on incredulity, right? Like if somebody says, prove that 2 + 2 = 4, you're just going to say like, dude, it's just obvious, right? Like it's if somebody just says, I don't see what you mean, or prove that the law of non-contradiction isn't real, you would say like, dude, it's just obvious, right?
I
There's no
think
way that you can. It comes on.
I think that's unfortunate because I think both of
Yeah.
those things are things that can be demonstrated. You can demonstrate the law of non-contradiction via a truth table. And I mean, you can just demonstrate like 2 + 2 to yourself, right? Like, wow, it's 4.
Maybe,
I agree, like a lot of
because
our
I
beliefs are going to be intuition based, but I think that we adjust our intuitions on things when we're confronted with arguments about them. I used to not be a vegan, but then I was confronted, and intuitively, most people think that veganism is not like an obligation, like you don't have to be vegan, or that it's like not immoral to eat meat. But, I adjusted that intuition when I heard the arguments for veganism. They're really good. So then I updated my view on that. I changed my intuitions.
Yep, yeah, and I'm a vegan too, by the way. I was actually convinced by this guy Alex O'Connor, whom I mentioned, and one of the things which he mentioned about consciousness was that the idea that this is just my last argument about consciousness, by the way. After that, I'll move on to the next one. But what he mentioned was the idea that matter, when arranged in a particular way, can produce conscious experience is somewhat like saying oranges or tangerines, when arranged in a particular way, will give rise to the concept of divorce, in the sense that it's a category error. It's just not something that can happen. Would you
Wait,
disagree with
oranges
that,
and
right?
what? Oranges and tangerines will give rise to what?
Oranges or tangerines, when arranged in a particular way, would give rise to the concept of divorce.
The concept of divorce?
Yeah.
No, I don't agree with
Yeah,
that at all.
like
I
it's
think
like
that the
it's like
mental
in a
stuff
completely
literally
different
stands in like
category.
causal chains. Presumably if there's like some abstract concept of divorce, it would be like a platonic thing. I think that there's like a pretty good disconnect between these two things. So no, I don't share the intuition that saying that the brain gives rise to consciousness is like saying that apples and oranges arranged in a specific way gives rise to the concept of divorce.
Yep, yeah. I think it is kind of like a personal intuition type of thing. I'll move on to my next argument though, and that had to do with reason, logic, and free will. I just want to combine the three of them. So, Ian, do you believe in free will?
Depends what you mean by free will. There's kind of like two definitions of it, or there's way more than two, but there's kind of like two positions on it that I think, I think determinism is true, but I also think compatibilism is true. So I think that all of our actions that we take are going to be produced by prior states. But nevertheless, I think that you're free in the sense that you can be held morally responsible, that, you can hold people responsible to the degree that they responded or didn't respond to the morally present reasons in any given circumstance. So I don't know. I think that I'm a compatibilist. I think that you can have free will and also determinism is true.
Yes, but then it would be a kind of would you agree with Schopenhauer? You can do what you will, but you cannot will what you will.
I think that that's about right. Although I do think that you can want for things to be different, right? Like I think that you can want to have some shift in your life. Maybe you drink a lot and you wish that was different. You can will that be different, even if there are days when you relapse and you go back to it. I guess I think that you can I think that you can, like a higher order, I think that you can change what you want to do at a lower order. But ultimately, I think that if you trace the causal chain back for all of them, it's going to arrive at things that are external to the self. I think that you can hold people responsible to the extent that when acting from like a deep personal self, when acting from their personality, they take these actions. I think that's when you can hold people responsible.
So you would say that like praise and blame. I mean, even people who don't deny free will would agree that arresting people just to keep them away from hurting others. I think Sam Harris says, if we could arrest tornadoes and earthquakes, we would do that as well. But you wouldn't hold them morally blameworthy, right? Would you hold people morally blameworthy and praiseworthy?
Yeah, absolutely. And there's like lots of compatibilist literature on this. What's this guy's name? I think his name is like David Brink. He defends like a compatibilist view of like retributive justice, where people can be deserving of things to the extent that they are reasons responsive. That we have certain reasons to take specific actions. Maybe the value of this toddler gives you reason to save it from walking into the road or something, and to the extent that that reason is present, you're morally responsible because you didn't respond to the reasons. It was your deliberative process that came up with the thought that you shouldn't do anything. The reason to do something was still nevertheless present, so you're responsible for that.
Yeah. I just feel like if you, yeah, but it, to me personally, it just seems like, do you understand, the other point of view where people say, if free will doesn't exist, things like praise and blame don't make sense, because as like, wouldn't you say that that's the more common opinion?
Maybe. I don't know, actually, because I think a lot of philosophers are compatibilists. I don't think that that's luckily there is like a survey on philpapers.org. Phil Papers survey. I wonder what they think about. I'd be very curious.
Yeah, I've skimmed through that. Unfortunately, I haven't really read too much professional philosophers. My research comes mainly from more like pop philosophers: Sam Harris, Richard Dawkins, Neil deGrasse Tyson, those guys. And most of those guys whom I've listened to, who didn't, including the physicists, by the way, Neil deGrasse Tyson, Sean Carroll, Brian Greene, they agree that free will doesn't exist, and therefore retributive justice doesn't make sense.
Oh, I mean, they very well might believe that, but like obviously that's not a reason for me to change my belief. Just the fact that there are like a lot of people, none of whom are philosophers, who hold this view.
That's true. So Ian, would you say that your thoughts are produced by the physical atomic reactions in our brain?
This is like quite surprising, but apparently the vast majority of philosophers hold to compatibilism. Apparently 60% of philosophers, or it's like 57.68% of philosophers hold towards accepting compatibilism. So it just seems like among professional philosophers, the majority opinion on the free will debate just is that free will is compatible with determinism. So I definitely don't have a reason to change my belief on this, given the fact that like non-philosophers, like a majority of non-philosophers, disagree with it.
Yep, and if I'm not mistaken, libertarian free will is the least popular, right?
No, actually. Apparently no free will is
oh wow, really?
Yeah. Libertarian free will holds like 20% of professional philosophers, and then no free will is 10%.
Oh wow, okay. Well, Ian, would you say that the thoughts which you have are produced by the physical atoms that make up your brain, the neurons and such?
I think that they reduce to them, yeah.
Yeah, and would you agree that you don't have control over them?
No, I think that it depends what you mean by control, right? Like I think that you deliberate and that you respond to reasons and that you make decisions to develop yourself in specific ways given like some state. So I think that insofar as it's
Okay.
your deliberation process that is evaluating the thoughts and then like selecting the thoughts, even if we want to say that like you're not responsible for having a thought, you're certainly responsible for deliberating on that thought and then like acting on it. You know, it's your deliberation process that decided that it was a good idea to do that.
Yeah, but the way that I've heard it, the individuals who deny free will argue that even that the choice to deliberate, um, would not have been under your control. It's
Depends
just
what you mean
something
by
that happens to
control.
you. I mean, the ability to do otherwise. If
Yeah,
all of the
oh,
atoms in the universe and so on were exactly the same.
there are really good counterexamples to the principle of alternative possibility, the ability to do otherwise. Like, for example, let's say that inserted into every soldier is like a war crime chip where, if they're given the command to do a war crime, they're going to be forced to do that war crime, regardless of if they don't want to. I don't know if you've ever seen Star Wars, but this is kind of, there's
Yep.
something,
Yep.
yeah. It's like the Execute Order 66, all the clones had like their like
Yeah.
control chips in them. But let's say that you have like a clone who doesn't need the control chip. He just starts like killing the Jedi. He just chooses to do that, doesn't resist it, makes that choice. Well, you'd still say that he's morally responsible for it, even though he couldn't have done otherwise. If he resisted, he would have been forced to. The fact that he doesn't resist and just chooses to do this means that he's still responsible despite the fact that he doesn't have the ability to do otherwise. So these are called I'm totally blanking on the name. Somebody in chat will know it. It's like a certain type of case. But these cases are a good counterexample.
I think I've heard Dr. William Lane Craig mentioned a similar thing, but he used the example of voting. It was still this
Frankfurt
brain in the chip
cases.
example.
Moz has it.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, I would say if your thoughts are essentially produced by the interactions in your brain and your decisions, I would say that person wouldn't be held responsible, me personally. Like, would you at least understand the position? Or would you say, no, I just don't see where they're coming from?
Well, maybe I could see where you're coming from. But, I don't think that means that there isn't like a compatibilist account of why you should hold these people morally responsible. I still think that you can hold people morally responsible for failing to respond to the morally relevant reasons that were present.
Okay, but yeah, don't you think like even sociological evidence kind of goes against it? The fact, like for example, we know that if people born in poverty or to abusive parents and things of that nature have a much higher likelihood of growing up to be more antisocial and things of that nature. Wouldn't you say that determinative factor kind of shows that we have less free will than we think? The fact that we can kind of to a quite large degree determine people's actions.
Not really, because I think that
not actions.
I think free will is compatible with determinism, right? So just pointing to this, like I'm gonna agree that these people they were largely shaped by their environments, and nevertheless they are responsible for their actions because it's their deliberation process that made the decision to do the thing or to not do the thing.
Yeah, it's. I actually wasn't planning on arguing this because my other friends who don't believe in free will usually don't believe in the retributive element, and like the fact that people's environment seem to influence their life to such a high degree is actually one of the arguments that makes me doubt God more. So
yeah, well, this is interesting. I'm actually I don't know. I'm taking classes with a philosophy professor who publishes a lot in philosophy of religion, and he's working on this really good argument. I don't know if you're familiar with a political theorist named John Rawls, but he's like a staunch defender of liberalism, and one of his big contributions is that a lot of like your starting position in life is entirely luck dependent. You are going to be spawned into this world. You're going to have genetics that you are not responsible for, and you're going to have like the social environment around you that you're not responsible for. And that this is a reason to think that God doesn't exist, because if God existed, you wouldn't have all of these unjust inequalities in terms of people's starting conditions. Some people are born into a place where they will literally starve to death in a couple of days. Whereas other people will never have to worry about food a day in their life because of the conditions that they're born into. Some people will have like horrific diseases. Some people will have, genetic abilities, the likes of which are completely unparalleled. And it's an inequality, but it's an inequality that these people did nothing to deserve. So it's an unjust inequality.
Yeah, exactly. Which is why it's this isn't a point that I've usually got the opportunity to debate with my atheist friends, because they usually agree. They usually agree that people aren't really morally responsible for their actions, because they are more or less the product of their environment and their genes. But yeah, so it's. Do you mind talking about this for a little longer, or do you want to move on to the?
Yeah, we can move. I probably have to move on to the next guest soon, but yeah, if you wanted to move on to a different topic, I don't know. I have basically.
Yeah, no, I wanted to talk.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, so my point was, well, the reason why I brought up free will, because it seems to me that if your thoughts are produced by the physical atoms in your brain, doesn't that kind of negate the truth value, because atomic reactions really aren't directed towards the truth, right?
What? Well, so what it means to be directed towards the truth is that you have like some sort of mental representation. Like what propositions do is they represent like some state of affairs. If I say the cat is on the mat, that's representing like a specific state of affairs where there's a cat and the cat is on top of the mat. So, when I believe something, I'm taking like an affirmative attitude towards a proposition. My mind has a mental representation of this thing. And if my mind's representation that I also affirm is in line with reality, well, then that's a true belief. I'm not sure what the problem with that is.
Well, yeah, you very well could. You very well could come to the appropriate conclusion, but I'm just saying that like there is no real guarantee, right? Like the reason why you are an atheist is because the atoms in your brain collided in such a way to produce the thoughts that make you an atheist, whereas a theist is a theist because the atoms in his brain collided in a particular way to make him a theist. And he believes it just as strongly as you do.
Yeah, but the question is, do any of these thought formation processes, do any of them track the truth? And the answer to that is yes. There are ways to go about your belief formation that are going to be truth tracking, and there are ways to go about your belief formation that are not truth tracking. The question is whether or not your beliefs stand in like some sort of explanatory relation with like the facts that you're affirming to be true.
Yeah, and this kind of gets into, have you heard of Alvin Plantinga's argument against naturalism?
Yeah.
What do you think? I won't be able to put it as coherently as he, but what do you think about that?
I think that the argument's interesting. I think that there's like a really bad version of this argument that you might hear on the internet sometimes called like presuppositionalism, the transcendental argument for God. I think that Plantinga's evolutionary argument against naturalism is a more sophisticated version of that. Basically, the idea that evolution didn't selected for survival and reproduction. It didn't select for us having like perfect like truth, knowledge. Therefore, we should like distrust our beliefs. I just don't think that's true. I think that we can see the residue of evolution that's present within our cognitive biases, right? We have all these cognitive biases to catastrophize or to ascribe agency to things. The human mind makes a lot of faulty judgments if you ask it to think very quickly. But then it holds like a lot of, like, you can arrive at true judgments by reflecting, the sort of things that we are, that we get value out of having knowledge of. We have senses to detect those things. And then the things that we don't, that weren't like evolutionarily advantageous for us to see, things like certain frequencies of light, like we can't see certain frequencies of light. It's because they weren't useful in terms of our survival. So we didn't need to see them. So I think that the limitations, typically, it's not that our brain is producing these false beliefs other than like knee-jerk, like instantaneous circumstances, but then the religious person faces the exact same problem. I also think that there are like underlying problems that under the views of epistemology that are necessary to run the evolutionary argument against naturalism, it turns out that God's beliefs are unjustified, which means that God would be not all-knowing.
Could you explain that last point? Why
Yeah.
God's beliefs should be understood?
So there's the way that you get the argument off the ground is with Plantinga's view of knowledge called proper functionalism, which is that there are these properly basic beliefs, is what they're called, and these are beliefs that are like foundational. In order to have any of your beliefs have any sort of justification, these properly basic beliefs need to be true. And he holds that one of the things that makes our sense data reliable and our reasoning faculties reliable is that it's reliable if it's designed by like some designer who wants you to have knowledge. If it's working as intended, then it's going to give justification for your beliefs, which is why they want to say under theism, well, the theist is justified in believing that because God designed your senses and God wants you to have knowledge. But then, under atheism, you're not justified in or under naturalism, you're not justified in believing that because nobody designed your senses, so they can't be working as designed. The problem with this then is that God's reasoning faculties and any sort of like sense data that God might have becomes unjustified because God wasn't designed by a further designer. So it probably proves more than the theist wants to. It probably ends up proving that God is not all-knowing, that he's unjustified in his reasoning ability.
Yeah, that's interesting. Did you get that from like an article which I had written or something like that? I would like to kind of look into it.
Gosh, I'm taking a class with a philosophy professor, and I got that argument from him actually, but I don't want to share. I don't want to share his name, obviously. I'm sorry. I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure that would be
No,
useful. After I'm done taking classes with him, I can start pumping it.
Yeah, thanks. Because what I was trying. So you don't think you don't think that.
Oh wait, actually no. Sorry,
reason.
it's he got it from somewhere else. No, he gets it from Evan Fales. There's Evan Fales's book, Divine Intervention: Metaphysical and Epistemic Puzzles, lays out this objection. I totally forgot that that's where he gets it from.
It's Evan Fales.
Yeah, F-A-L-E-E.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks.
I thought it was pronounced. I thought it might have had a more dignified pronunciation, but I watched an interview with him, and nope, it's Fales.
Yeah, because so far throughout my life, I've just believed in God due to personal experience, and it's only recently that I've got just within a couple of months that I've got interested in kind of apologetics. So I'm trying to study philosophy and apologetics and stuff.
Sure, absolutely. Is there anything else? Otherwise, I might move on to the next guest.
Yeah, can I just can I ask what you think about morality and purpose? Do you think that these are objective?
Yeah, I think that there's okay. Here's what I'll say at the top of the queue. I don't think that God could possibly be the source of morality. Unfortunately, I think that God gets skewered by the Euthyphro dilemma. Either the morality is independent of God, in which case, well, like God doesn't change that, or it's good. It becomes good after God says that you should do it. But if that's what it is, then God telling me that I should do something doesn't give me a reason to do it. I would need to subjectively decide to listen to what God tells me to do.
Yeah, and I think the usual response is God is the good, right?
Ooh, but then that commits you to
Like
a
the
super implausible view called divine simplicity.
oh, okay. I've heard of it, but I'm not sure what that means.
Yeah, it holds
I'll look
that
into
God
it.
is identical to all of his attributes, that God is identical to goodness, and that God is identical to love, and that God is identical to eternity, and that God is identical to all knowledge, and that and it just leads to like absurdities. Like you end up having to affirm things like, well, and not everyone finds this to be an absurdity, but I do, that, you know, eternity is identical to love. And I just don't think that's true, right? I don't think a thing existing but not beginning to exist is the same thing as like the qualitative like emotion of closeness. Like I just think that these things are different, like very different. Although the proponent of simplicity would respond by saying, well, it's not literal, it's like an analogy, it's like analogous to love. But then, I mean, at that point, I don't think you get to solve the Euthyphro. If God isn't good, he's just like analogous to good.
Yeah, I see what you mean. So, like, would you be closer to a but you would consider yourself to be a realist, right?
Yeah, I'm a realist. I think that morals
Like,
can be objective.
so would you are you a utilitarian or like
No,
a
God,
because I'm a vegan as well because
yeah.
that's why I mean, I'm a vegan because I side more with like utilitarian
I
ethics.
probably fall closest to virtue ethics, although the one that I think is the easiest to understand,
Virtue.
I draw heavily on virtue ethics and also on deontology for the most part. And then I think utilitarianism has some role when all of the other things are like a similar base. You know, if you have to choose between like one rights violation or like two identical rights violations, well, then I think you should pick the one rights violation. But I don't think utilitarian has like a I don't think utilitarianism comes in before that.
Or yeah, I personally align more with like a rule utilitarian based on kind of God's nature. I kind of combine both of them.
How would it be based on God's nature?
In the sense that God's nature is that of a rule utilitarian.
So I think that you're going to run into like
And that
really
he has,
unintuitive consequences. Like, for example, if there's like a set of rules, and this is like the good set of rules to do, and you're saying it's God's nature, so basically, like whatever God is currently doing is the good thing to do. Well, God's not curing cancer, so it seems like at that point you would have to say that like it's not one of the rules that you should cure cancer if given the opportunity.
yeah, well, but God's the reason why God isn't curing cancer is because he has a higher plan in mind, right? Like that's the
Mhm.
but he wants us to cure cancer, but he has something broader going on. I don't think God intervenes in reality as such.
Yeah, that just leads to the problem, which is that, you know, if God, the utilitarian, has decided that there's like good utilitarian reasons to not do this, well, then you
Yeah,
knowing that God exists means that you know that there's like some greater good to not doing this, so you shouldn't do it either.
yeah, I get what you're saying. Um, yeah, Ian, would you think that consciousness ends after death?
I'm inclined to think so. I think if like physicalism is true, then definitely. But
So you would bet on most probably.
yeah, but listen,
Yeah.
we've been talking for a while. I appreciate the conversation, but I should move on to the
Oh yeah.
next guest because
Yeah,
we've been
I'm
talking for
really
so
sorry.
long.
I'm really
No,
sorry.
no, you
Thanks
don't
for
need
your
to
time.
apologize.
Thanks for
I've really enjoyed the conversation with you. Thanks so much for coming on up.
Yeah, me too. Hopefully, yeah. And I'm sorry to the rest of the chat for taking up so much time as well.
That's
Thank you so
okay.
much.
You're all good. Hey, thanks so much for coming on
Thanks.
up. Appreciate
Bye.
you. Make sure you're double tapping on that screen, sharing it with your friends, doing all the good stuff. Let's read some supers. Carrie, thanks so much for the tier 1 sub on Twitch. I appreciate you. Luna, thank you so much for the TikTok Galaxy. Whoa, that's pretty cool. I appreciate that. Luna, thanks so much for the Ian curls. I appreciate that. Maddie Meister, thanks so much for the super chat. Maybe Lucifer fell from heaven just to finally feel something. It's like it's like the Eagles when they do like the death spiral. I think that's the word, but yeah, I don't know. That's pretty cool. how it must be like to be an eagle embracing like your mate in your talons, and then you guys just like stop flying and like start falling. Like that sounds pretty cool, actually. Matthew Olander, thanks so much for the super chat. Under a compatibilist paradigm, could a self-modifying computer program be considered to have free will? Maybe. I think so. I don't know. I think that the idea that there's no possible way that you could configure a computer such that it's going to have consciousness is like probably false. Fio Games, thanks so much for the super chat. Ian committing to virtuous threshold deontology. That's my favorite thing about threshold deontology, is that it's like, I like how like utterly arbitrary it is, but maybe that's fine. That it's like suddenly all of a sudden it becomes utility time, you know? We're doing like the deontology, and then when shit gets real dire, you tap the emergency button and it's utilitarian time. Ricardo, thanks so much for the $50 Venmo. That's incredible. Let's get a big W for Ricardo. I don't know, that's pretty incredible. Thank you. Philosophical fireworks go worth with our intentions. Some come with the jisms, while others get the jism. Rhetorical in nature. We need legislature for these fanatics. Keep on filling up. I might just be an addict. Love the content and the knowledge. Thanks for all you do. Ricardo, that was very heartfelt, and I really appreciate that. Let's get a big W for Ricardo. Thank you so much. That's very kind of you. I'm glad that I can give you something to think about. Stripe 10 Ball, thanks so much for super chat. Is there a formal philosophical argument for the idea that God is bounded by his own nature or desires? Well, I mean, if he goes outside of his nature, then that's a contradiction. I mean, yeah, you'd probably want to look into the stuff related to problems related to. I'll give you a good starting place. Go to the Stanford Encyclopedia of Philosophy and read the article on divine freedom. That's a great article on this exact topic, actually. The things that might potentially or might not potentially constrain God's ability to choose. All right, let's go to the very next guest. Hey, how's it going?
Hey, good, Ian. How are you?
Doing well, doing well. Yeah, what's up? How old are you?
We've talked before. I am 40 years old.
Oh, sure. And what religion, remind me?
I'm Christian.
Sure. What makes you think that God exists?
Well, I guess I try to figure out first what your threshold is for the need to experience or to prove that God exists. So is it something that you need to tangibly hold, or is it
No, definitely not.
something you can feel? Okay, do you need to feel it? Do you need
No.
to see it with your eyes?
Certainly, I mean, if I saw it or felt it, that would be sufficient, but it's not necessary. There are other ways that I could arrive at this belief. So, for example, you know, if this is a trivial example, the bar is way lower than this. But if the stars in the sky spelled out, you know, made with love by God in every language on earth, well, certainly at that point, I'm going to believe in God. But all I need is evidence that raises the probability that God exists to above 50%. And then at that point, I'd become a theist.
Okay, well, listen, I don't think anybody can be a theist, right? Because essentially what that is we all have certain thresholds of who we are and what we believe in terms of a higher being, right?
I think that you should go tell that to all the theists, right? I think there are a lot of people that are theists.
Well, I don't have to, I'm just making I don't have to do anything for anyone else. I'm just talking about myself.
Sure. So, but you
believe that there's not a definitive red marked line where you either on one side or the other. You can have it's not binary, right?
I think it kind of is, right? Like either you believe in God or you don't.
Well, you're saying that you absolutely don't believe that God exists. However, you want to see proof of it. Hence, the understanding that you're at least trying. Well, you're saying that if I had evidence that God existed, then I would change my mind, right?
Yeah, I'm not saying that I
Okay.
absolutely don't believe in God. What I'm saying is that I'm open to the evidence, but right now I think we have good reason to think that he doesn't exist.
Do you think though that there is a threshold that doesn't exist? Like you can be at 0 to 100, and everybody has. It's not binary. There's some things where I kind of feel it exists, but it doesn't.
I think that you can have like varying degrees of credence, but I think the point where you say that you'd believe something is when you hold like a 50% likelihood belief in it. You know, if you hold that it's more likely than not that it is true, then I just think that that's believing it.
So 50% versus 50% is binary, right?
Yeah. I do
Okay.
think that this is a binary, right? Like either you believe it or you don't. You can have varying degrees of credence in the proposition, but I think ultimately either you believe it or you don't.
You literally just got done saying literally 15 seconds ago, it's not binary.
I don't think I said that. I think I said that it is binary. That there
Mhm.
are like various degrees of credence,
Well,
but
then
then
you
after you
said,
hit the 50%, I think that that's just what a belief is when it's more likely than not.
okay, so that's fine. I mean, I guess that's the reason why the word faith exists is in terms of a dictionary word, but it's just one of those things, right? So it's like, okay, I have faith in something because I have a little bit more of an understanding of it, but I haven't seen it yet. But for some reason, I think you're trying to make an argument that faith is binary. You either believe or you don't.
Well, I think belief is binary. You might notice how the word switched just now, that it switched from faith to belief. I think that belief is binary in the sense that either you believe or you don't. I think that there are belief-like states. Maybe you want to say like your credence in a proposition. I don't think credences are binary. I think credence in a proposition is a sliding scale. But I mean, you know, it also, if we're just talking about like strength of belief, obviously,
Again,
I
you're
think that you
trying
can
to
have
fill.
stronger beliefs or like weaker beliefs, but the question of whether or not you believe it is just when you think that it's more likely than not.
Have you ever been to the Philippines?
No.
Okay, so you haven't been to the Philippines. Do you believe the Philippines exist?
Yes.
Because why?
Because my ex-girlfriend was Filipino and she told me about all the times that she's been there and she showed me all these pictures.
But you haven't been there, right?
Yeah, I don't think you need to physically go somewhere or see something in order to know that it's real, right? I explained this to you at the beginning of the conversation that I don't think you need to see God physically to know that he's real.
However, what I'm trying to explain to you is that you haven't been there yet,
Hmm.
but you know it exists in some way, shape, form, or fashion. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Just trying to get us to the point of for us to be able to debate in a way where when you're trying to use logic and philosophy, I'm using the same thing. And then from there, I want to know, okay, so you have faith that the Philippines exist.
It's not faith. I have evidence.
Well, you haven't been there.
I don't think you need to see something to have evidence for it. I explained this to you earlier, right? I'll explain it a third time. You know, the reason why I don't believe in God isn't because I haven't seen him. You know, I think that if I have not seen God, but my credence that God exists hits 50%, well, at that point, I'm just going to believe that God exists. I don't think that
Okay.
you need to see something to have evidence for it. I think that there's evidence for things that you don't see.
Well, okay. First off, you've never been there, and it's almost like the people that are kind of like the flat earthers and all that kind of stuff. That's kind of crazy to me. But what you're really saying is I've never been there, but I have evidence of it because I've seen it, I felt it, I know somebody, right?
Well, I have evidence for it on account of, you know, if it's on every single map that I've ever encountered, but it's not a real place that really exists. Well, at that point, there would just need to be like some grand conspiracy to deceive us about these, and those are intrinsically unlikely.
So basically, what you're saying is that people that feel, see, or understand things that you've never seen before, you're calling them liars or idiots because they have seen
How did I
things
say
or
that?
felt.
What did I
Well,
say
what you're
that would imply that? That seems like a
be-
straw man.
it's not a straw man.
Can you summarize back to me what I said that made you think that that's my position?
Your position is because it's of this earth and you've never been there, but you've seen evidence of it. But what you want to do, the straw man for you is because you haven't seen it or felt it or experienced it, it doesn't exist until you see it.
This is
That's your
this is
straw
like
man.
the polar opposite of what I'm saying. I think I've said this like 3 times now. If you want, okay, maybe there's like
Ian,
some
stay
like
focused.
maybe there's like
Stay
a memory
focused.
thing that's taking place here. So what I can do, I'll do this just for you. I
Stay focused.
will put it
You
on the
did this last
notepad.
time.
I'm just gonna put it on the notepad so that we don't forget it. I do not think that you need to see something or feel something in order to have evidence for it.
However, if I don't see it and feel it, it doesn't exist. Therefore,
not
show me
my-
it exists.
That's not what I believe. That's not my stance.
Well, tell me differently then. Why don't you believe in God?
literally
If
on
other
the screen
people
in
believe
front of
in
you. Like
God,
my actual stance is literally on the screen in front of you.
okay. So, okay, let me read it out loud so we can all just do some critical thinking here.
Yeah.
Okay. I do not think that you need to see something or feel something in order to have evidence for it.
Yes.
Now, okay, great. However, why are you arguing with people that believe in God?
Yeah, because I think that the belief is false.
Why?
Because I think that there's good defeaters to it.
Type down why you don't believe God
Okay.
exists then.
That's fine.
Break it down.
Either God is eternally creating or not
Whoa,
eternally
whoa, whoa, whoa,
creating.
whoa, whoa. No. You've did
You-
this before. You're wanting to put
I thought you wanted the
absolute-
proof.
No, you're wanting the proof. I'm just telling
This
you,
is
you're
the-
wanting it on your
You
terms,
asked
right?
me. You asked me to give the proof, and I started giving it
The
to you.
Philippines doesn't exist until somebody buys me a ticket and I can fly over
Okay,
there and
I'll-
I can put my feet in the sands.
Okay, if your debate strategy relies on like strawmanning my position, I mean, I've already put it on the whiteboard. I can just
Kind of a
direct you
steel
back
man.
to the highlighted
Kind of a steel
portion
man, right?
where it says, I do not think that you need to see or feel something in order to have evidence for it. So every time you try to ascribe these views that I don't hold to me, that, you know, I think you need to like see or feel the Philippines in order to know that the Philippines exists or have evidence that the Philippines
But if
exists.
I
That's
say-
not my stance.
Okay, then let me take your statement and say, I believe that I have felt, seen, and saw things that have evidence of God. So I just took all the negative
Like what?
integers, like all the negatives out.
Let's
so
hear it. Yeah, like what?
Oh, do you want me to go ahead? Like, see, that's the thing, right? So you're being a hypocrite right there. You
Okay,
want the
it
evidence.
sounds like you actually haven't done that, right? Like you, okay.
No, you're wanting the
I
evidence.
do want the
right now.
evidence, correct? Yeah.
But
The evidence
for
doesn't
some
need to be
reason-
something that you've seen and felt. Right? As I'll direct you back to the statement, you know, the highlighted one. I do not think that you need to see something or feel something in order to have evidence for it. When I ask you for evidence for God, it doesn't need to be something that I can see and feel. It doesn't need to be something that you've seen and felt. Other
No, you-
evidence is fine.
Well, okay, time out. What are you talking about? You're literally saying touch, taste, feel, see, right? 5 senses,
Mhm.
right? So what are you talking about? I don't need the evidence, but for some
There's
reason
evidence
you
other than
need the
that.
evidence.
Whoa, sorry, that's a straw man. I never said that this is the
Ah.
only kind of evidence. This is exactly the opposite of what I'm saying. I
I
don't
do
think
not
that you
think-
need to have like sensory evidence for a thing. I think that there's evidence for a thing other than sensory evidence for a thing. I think that you can engage in like a priori reasoning, or for example, you can run like a cosmological argument. You can notice that some things come into existence, and then you can reason that, well, because everything that comes into existence, there's like something that produces it. Well, then therefore, you know, everything that begins to exist must have a cause, and there can't be like an infinite regress of causes, so there must be a first cause, and then you can reason about the properties to arrive at the conclusion that it's like a personal God. Like there are just ways to try to motivate a belief in God that make no reference in any way, shape, or form to like sensory experience.
Okay, well, that's fine. That was great. That was a great speech. Let's do it this way, okay?
Yeah.
So you are on the pinnacle right now of human understanding, right?
I
You
don't
understand all
think-
things.
I would never describe myself that way, and I never did.
Then why are you trying
why are
to
you
have
strawmanning
evidence
me?
that you? I'm not. What? Listen, if you say straw man one more time, that's just a nice little word. I'm not straw manning. All I'm saying is, You know, without a doubt, God does not exist.
I think that there are successful deductive proofs. I think that
What are
in
we
order
talking
for
about then?
these to be incorrect, there would need to be some premise that's incorrect. But unfortunately, all the premises are like pretty good.
Okay, so, but you said that, so basically, we talked about that fine line, right? 50-50. So
Yeah.
you're on, so, but you're not 50-50, right? You may be, let's call it a
Oh,
percentage.
I'm not
You're
50-50.
you're
If I
like,
was 50-50, then I'd probably just believe in God.
no, you're not 0 and you're not 100.
I'm at basically 0. I think one of the premises would need to be false.
Can't be basically 0.
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah, I'll defend 0.
You can't be basically 0 though, because you said you either
We'll
believe
do
or you
0.
don't.
That's fine. Yeah.
So,
Well, sorry.
you
I
just
said that
switched on me.
there's various credences, if you recall. You know, that credences are a sliding scale. So if you're asking my credence in God's existence, it's at basically 0.
Well, no,
But if you're asking like
literally said
0,
you believe or
1,
you-
like is the belief a 0 or a 1? The belief is a 0. I don't believe in God.
Okay, so but binary, you're either a 1 or a 0.
Yeah.
So you're a 0.
Yes.
You can be a 1 though.
You could be a 1. If you believed in God,
Okay.
you'd be a 1.
Okay, so that means binary means you're either if or no. Yes or no?
Yeah.
Okay,
I agree.
so there's no if.
You said
So you
if, I
a-
didn't say if.
No, well, I'm saying there's no if for you is what I'm saying.
What do you mean there's no if? Can you elaborate on that?
Yeah, so binary, yes or no, right?
So there is an if,
No.
right? Like if the premises are true, then I would, or if the premises are false, then I would reevaluate it. But, you know, I'm also at a 1 on all the premises. So
What, you're a 1 on all the premises, meaning yes, I can listen to the premises?
like I affirm, so I have an argument. I have multiple arguments against God's existence. And I
Okay.
think that the premises are true. So unfortunately, they just necessitate that the conclusion is true as well.
Okay, so then let's just go back from anything religion based and let's just talk about the cosmological argument.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, so now I understand with any religion, there is no explanation for the creation of things.
Mhm.
But however, you do not have an explanation either.
Okay. How do you know that I don't have an explanation?
Well, I haven't heard one except for the Big Bang
And
Theory.
because you've
but
never
that-
heard it, that means it doesn't exist?
answer the question.
You might
We
notice how I
both
just
are
turned
we are
that
both on the
you.
level playing ground that we do not understand how eternity, everything, cosmologically, all matter. We have no understanding how it was created, right?
I don't know why I would think that it is created as opposed to just like an infinite regress.
What does that mean?
So before today is a day, before every time is another time.
What we're talking about just atoms and matter. What are you talking about?
Yeah, I think that there's past infinite regress, that there's like these slices of reality. You know, matter is in one configuration right now. Wait a couple of seconds, it's in a new configuration right now. I think that there's an infinite regress of configurations.
Who created?
It's an infinite regress. There is no first slice.
Okay, then honestly, that's my first understanding of how you might believe in God. So that's great. I
It's a
appreciate
disproof
that.
of God, so it's kind of strange that you'd think that that's like a reason to believe
How
in
is
God.
it a disproof
Yeah,
of
because
God?
if
Like,
if the universe is eternal, then God didn't create it. Because
touch
if it doesn't
touch-
get brought
touch
into
your seat.
existence, then God can't
Touch your
bring it
hair.
into existence.
touch your hair for me.
Why are you trying to like fuck me? Like what is this?
No, touch your hair. Touch your hair or something of matter. Where did it come from?
I came from my parents, if that's what you're asking.
Where'd
Are you
your
asking like
parents
where
come
the
from?
are you asking like where the matter itself came from?
Yeah.
Oh, I think that the matter is going to be brought about via energy getting transferred among various particle fields.
Where'd the energy come from?
I think the energy is eternal. You might recall your physics class, energy can't be created or destroyed.
Okay, so but you're saying eternal,
Yeah,
but everything has a starting point, right?
that's a blunder. Otherwise, you'd have to say that God is a starting point. You want
I
to say
do,
that
I,
everything, oh, sorry, actually, you want to say that everything that has a starting point has like a cause to it. You don't want to say everything is a starting point. Otherwise, then God would have a starting point. So
well,
then God's not the creator.
what I said was you and I have both the same understanding. If you'll listen to what I'm saying instead of getting argumentative, I said you and I both do not understand how. But for some reason, you want me to prove that I understand how God created everything. All I'm
I
saying
just want you to
is
give the evidence for why you believe in it. I didn't ask
I
you, by
want
the
you to.
way. By the way, you'll recall I never asked you the question via what mechanism does God create. I'm fine ascribing to the theist that they hold that God is all powerful, such that if God exercises his powers to create, that creation exists. I'm fine holding that that's consistent for the theist.
But the same thing exists in terms of what you are trying to explain to people is that one person submits to that, okay, God did it. And you're just saying, I don't know, but it just exists, energy. Do you
Well,
understand how
I am making like
hypocritical that is?
well, first of all, I don't know what the hypocrisy there is. Second of all, I didn't claim that. I do think that there are affirmative demonstrations that the universe is past eternal.
Okay, I just am asking the question, who created it? I don't
It's a
understand why
category
you.
error. It's a loaded question even. It presupposes that there is a creator. I don't grant that
Then
there's a
there's no
creator.
creator.
Yes, it's an infinite regress. There is no
Isn't
starting point.
doesn't that just make your head spin? Like,
Not at
okay, so
all.
there's no creator. However, we're here
Yeah, so what? Why would that be hard to understand?
because I don't understand what you're telling me.
That might just be a
So
lack of creativity on your part.
I don't think so. Tell me again. I just hear energy and all of this other stuff. Please explain to me where the world came from.
I think that the world always existed. If by the
How
world
did
you
it
mean the
exist?
universe,
How did it exist?
what's that question asking?
It's the
I don't know
same
what how
question you're
does it
asking me.
exist? Wait,
It's the
what
same
question did I
question.
ask you? I didn't ask you how did God create. What's the how question that I asked you?
What you're trying to do is this, okay? In
Wait,
my
sorry.
opinion,
Wait, I want an answer to that. What was the question that I asked you?
I asked you the question.
Okay, I didn't ask you any how question. So when you say,
No.
well, you asked me the same question, I didn't. That's a lie.
Ian, this is not a good look, man. You just got to chill out for a minute.
I mean, I agree it's not a good look. Maybe you're right. I do need to chill out, but it's because of how one-sided this debate's been.
I don't know about that, but anyways, I'll tell you this much. I believe in one thing. You believe in another thing. You believe we always existed. Everything has always been
Not
and
quite.
always will be.
Not quite. I
How
think
am I
that the universe
misrepresenting
has
your
always
words?
existed. I think that the universe changes over time. I think that there's like some totality of energy and quantum fields, and that over time it changes into different configurations. So there are new things that come into existence, but always within the universe.
But where did it start, Ian?
It doesn't have a start. That's the position.
Well, then that's an understanding at least. Maybe it's a very it's very
You should say, I
not
believe
an.
in God again. That one went really well the last time you tried it.
Well, I'm not saying that. All I'm saying is the uneducated might believe that it's God. You believe in the same.
What? The uneducated might believe that if the universe always existed, that is, it never got brought into existence, that God might have brought it into existence. I agree.
Well,
The uneducated might believe a contradiction. I don't know how
it's
that's an indictment of my position.
it's not an. Okay, so do you mind if not interrupting me? Do you want to be respectful?
It depends. I mean, if you like strawman me, I'm probably going to interrupt. But if you're
Oh my
saying things that aren't
gosh.
strawmanning me, then that's fine.
Okay, so one guy who never went to college and one guy who went to college. One guy says God created the universe. The Bible says God created the universe. He was and he is and he forever will be. And you're saying the exact thing, but you're putting a mentality on it that somehow, some way, you can't explain where the universe started and all that. Neither can the Christian or
Yeah.
the Buddhist or the Hindu or whatever.
Yeah,
So
you know,
what is the difference?
let's say that we have two people. We have one who graduated college. He says proudly horses exist, and one that doesn't graduate college, who says unicorns exist. And then we have you who comes over, Carl Bismarck, and says, well, I mean, you guys both believe in something that has four legs. That has like a tail, something that's strong, something that's like, yeah,
Oh, that's a
sturdy, something
super
that could
straw man.
compare,
That thing,
that
that's
could
a.
carry like a human into battle, maybe. So kind of,
All
I
I'm
think your belief
saying
in
is,
horses is the same thing as this guy's belief in unicorns. That's
okay,
that's
time
like
out.
basically more or less what just
No,
happened.
no, what just happened, and I'll just go ahead and clarify it for all of your audience and for you yourself, okay?
Yeah,
Don't interrupt
please.
me. You can't tell me where matter in the universe began, neither
It's a
can
loaded
anybody.
question.
Excuse me,
You have
sir.
an uninterrogated presupposition in that statement, which is that it came from somewhere to begin with. I don't
Well,
grant
you're
that.
telling me that it always
Yeah,
existed.
what's the critique of that?
Where did it come from?
That's a category error. If it always existed, then it doesn't come into existence.
Then you're making your explanation for God. What are you talking
Nope.
about, man?
God's a mind. The universe isn't a mind.
Okay, well then now you're bringing what you think is the universe into physical realm, and that's why
The
we're having
universe
this
is in
issue
the
and this
physical
argument.
realm.
The universe is a physical realm, but you're bringing it into the mentality of what supposedly you believe in. You just don't have
That
the
was
answer, Stan.
gibberish. Sorry, wait, what's one answer that you think that I don't have?
How do we begin?
How did we? Are you asking humans? Are you asking the universe?
Well, either way, because one is
We
was
began at
one
the same
comes from
time that you
one
stopped
comes
beating your
from the other.
wife. When did you stop beating your wife, Carl?
Oh my gosh, that is without a doubt the
When
lowest of the
did you?
low.
When did it stop, Carl? Or is it still ongoing?
When did you come out gay?
When did it stop? Yeah, exactly, right? You get the idea, right? It's a false presupposition baked into it.
How is it? Listen,
When
a
challenged with a false presupposition, when you ask when did it begin, that presupposes that it did begin. I don't grant that it begun. That's the very thing that my position rejects.
you just say it always existed.
Yeah.
So when you ask a person of faith, when did God start everything?
That's not why I think that God doesn't exist.
But you're using the. How am I not? Why is it
You're
that you're
switching
so?
from an internal critique to an external critique.
I'm
At first, you
treating
asked me,
I-
when did it begin to exist, the internal critique? And I say, that's mistaken. I don't think that it began to exist. Then you switch to the external critique and you say, well, the theist says the same thing. But that's not an argument against my position. That's no inconsistency on my part.
It's
I
not
don't
an
think
argument.
that when they say
It's
God always existed, that the problematic thing is like the always existed. I think things can always exist. I just don't think that this thing, God, always existed. In the same way, you can think that things with four legs exist, but that doesn't mean that you're committed to saying that unicorns exist.
four leg, all that crap. Okay, just listen.
Mhm,
All I'm
listening.
trying to do is tell you that you are on the same level as the people that have faith in God, because you don't know
Oh.
anything and we don't know
Is
anything.
there a disproof of my belief? Because I have a disproof of theirs.
No, actually, what I'm trying to establish is you
It
are on the
sounds like
same
I'm on a
level.
higher level if there's not a disproof of my position, but there is a disproof of theirs. That would make me on a higher position, I think,
No,
like evidentially speaking.
would you like to listen? Okay, I want to make sure you understand this. All I'm saying to you is that a person that doesn't believe God exists but cannot explain where the universe started and how matter started,
That's a false
and
presupposition.
it's not. You cannot.
Does that question presuppose that the universe
Could you
started?
please stop interrupting me for
Can you
one
please
moment?
answer the question? I know you don't like answering questions. Maybe you're
No, I'm
physically
not going to answer
incapable
your
of.
question yet
I
because I'm
grant
trying
it.
to
It's because
get
you
my
don't have an
principle.
answer, because it exposes how duplicitous you're being. Just answer the question.
Ian, you did this last time, and I'm telling you, man, you've got to understand. I know TikTok's great, but you have to sit here for a moment and be challenged, okay? And stop interrupting me.
I gotta hold
And
myself back.
be a gentleman.
But,
Okay.
oh God, the button's sitting right there. I can't do it. Can't do it. Won't do it. Okay. Yep.
Be a gentleman. You're saying you don't know how creation was created. right?
I'm saying I don't think that creation was created. That this is a
Okay.
false presupposition. That
Okay.
when you say
Uh,
the claim, when did creation begin? That's like me saying, when did you stop beating your wife? In the same way that when did you stop beating your wife presupposes
Interrupting
that
me
you
again.
started beating your wife at some point, that's like a thing that's happened in the past. When did creation begin assumes that there is a beginning.
Listen, Ian, I didn't want to be confrontational. All I'm trying to tell you is that the people that believe in God believe in that fact that they can explain how all things were created and who created God in the very same format that you can explain where everything came from. And you just say it's infinite. Well, there's no such thing.
Oh, wait, that disproves God. Wait. Okay, wait.
It does.
Let me
It
show how
does.
that disproves
Listen,
God. Nothing is infinite.
but we're
Premise 2, if God exists, then
stop.
God is
Listen to what I'm
infinite.
saying about that. Listen
Therefore,
to what
God doesn't exist. You just disproved your own God.
I didn't
That's the
disprove it. What I'm
infinity
trying to
blender, dude.
explain
Quite
to you
literally, you
is
just snapped your God out of existence. You're like Thanos. Wait, so which of these two premises would you reject? Would you reject premise 1 that nothing is infinite, or premise 2 that if God exists, then God is infinite? Which of those premises would you reject?
just because you have a screen doesn't mean what I'm trying to explain to you is that you're saying that there's no infinity, there's no heaven.
Yeah.
However, you can't explain to me how we
Wait,
became.
sorry.
You're basically
Carl,
saying,
Carl, please. I just want to know. Do you
no,
agree?
I'm not going to do that.
Okay, Carl, there's no reason to be terrified of the notepad. The notepad is your friend. It allows us to engage logically.
You're saying that nothing is infinite, but you're saying everything's
said that.
infinite.
You just said nothing is infinite. That's a quote from you.
Yes. Okay. Well, apologize
Okay.
because I'm not infinite myself. Because
Okay, that's fine.
apparently I'm just.
That's fine.
Where did we come from, Ian?
The universe? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, where did the universe come from, Ian?
The universe always existed.
Okay, how did it always? Listen, man, you have to start understanding. You're going to lose a lot of credibility if you cannot. You don't have to have the answer, but at least give the audience
Are you
the
trying to bad
understanding.
cop me?
No,
I'm
not.
I'm
just-
baffled. You're like using like the cop
I'm-
tactics. Like you
you're
gotta things are
interrupting
looking
me
really
again.
bad for you. You know,
All
you
I'm
better
trying to
start
tell
you better
you
start
is-
talking, you know, otherwise things are gonna get even like what? You're in no
interrupting
position
me.
to be making demands from me, and I'm not gonna take debate advice from you.
I'm just telling you that I'm trying to make the comparison. I'm not even trying to get you off your position. I'm just trying to tell you you're in the same seat as somebody that believes in God.
I disagree. I think that there's a notable difference between my seat and their seat, which is that, you know, from where I'm sitting, I have a disproof of God's existence, but from where they're sitting, they don't have a proof of God's existence.
Well, then this has been a really good understanding. But again, you're telling me everything was always. Ironically, you're quoting Genesis. God always was and always will be. Except if you replace God with universe, you're saying the exact same thing, man. What are we debating about? Does it make you that uncomfortable to just say, we all don't understand it? How about just this? Here's my argument. We all don't understand it.
So
sorry.
here's the disproof of God's
No,
existence.
answer my question. We all don't understand
You
it.
didn't. That's not a question. You're an idiot.
Do we all understand it?
You said, "Oh, is that the
Do
question?
we-
Do
do
we
you-
all
do we-
understand it?
Do you understand it?
Do I understand
it?
what?
Disingenuous, man.
You can just ask me like the proposition or like the subject area that you want to know if I understand or don't.
I mean, you're an educated person. You understand, right, what I'm saying. But you're trying to defer, which is absolutely disingenuous.
What's the thing that you're asking if I understand?
Do you understand it all?
I understand some things.
I didn't ask if you understand some things. I understand some things. Apparently, I understand unicorns. I'm asking you, do you understand it all?
Do I understand everything? No, I only understand two
All-
things:
all
that
and
contradictions
everything are
don't
the
exist,
same
and that
word.
God's existence entails contradictions. That's all I need to know.
Okay, so when I used Genesis and I said, God always was and always will be, if I replace God
It doesn't
with
say
the
that
word,
in Genesis.
okay, if I replace
I don't know
that,
if you know that. Oh, awkward.
okay, Do you want to interrupt me and just be a absolute ass?
Well, I just think it's like worthwhile to point out that actually it
In the
sounds like you're not even
beginning,
very
God
familiar
always
with your own
was and
scripture.
always will be.
That's not what Genesis says.
Point it out.
We can read Genesis 1 if you'd like. You're not going to find always was and always will be. There's like an in the beginning, God hovered over the waters and then he crafts the waters.
Hang tight. I have to.
In order to get like the God is the end and the beginning stuff, I think those come from other books. Or that he always was or always will be.
Okay, so, gosh.
I agree. I
really
think
hate-
that quote is in the Bible. I'm like 70% sure that it's not in Genesis, though.
Okay, well, if it's in the Bible, then that's what people go off of. All I'm
You
trying
said
to explain.
Genesis.
Okay, thank you. That's very nice of you. You're so more important and smart than all
I
of
didn't
us.
say that. I don't know where this inferiority complex is coming from.
No, it's not. It's your snide demeanor. Honestly,
Oh,
like
you must
I'm-
not spend a lot of time around people with autism then.
Oh, okay. We're gonna go there. Okay.
Yes. Yeah,
How
you
much
think my
money does an
affect is
autistic
like
person make on TikTok?
you think that my affect is like insulting towards you. You know, that's
Oh.
kind of a you problem.
I don't have no problem with. The only thing I have a problem with is that if you have autism, okay, then you need to have absolute, without a doubt, 100% focus, right?
What? What are you talking about?
Do you have focus?
I focus on
You
some
hear
things.
you hear
Do I have
words, right?
absolutely 100% focus on like everything at all times? Obviously not. What are you talking about?
Well, you're on TikTok and you want to debate with people, right?
Yeah, I enjoy debate.
Oh,
It's
so
like my
so
hobby.
you're playing the cripple card now with me.
What the you need to stop saying that one, Carl. You should phase that one out of your vocabulary. In fact, I don't
Well-
even know if there was ever a point in time where it was like appropriate to call autistic people that.
I have 3 siblings, okay, that all have one for a fact, okay, has Down syndrome. The other one has autism. I take it very seriously.
I'm skeptical
I've
whether or
spent
not you
all
could
of
call
my
them
life
that word.
supporting Special
I mean,
Olympics
for
and
sure
taking
you
care
can't
of
call them
kids.
that, but like,
So don't you ever do that to me.
whoa. Grandstanding is not the winning rhetorical move at a time like this. You should
You
seriously
pulled the A
calm
card,
down.
bro. You pulled the A card.
Well, you did an A. I don't know what to say. Like,
Dude. Okay. This is a good look, right? I will say one thing. I do not have the patience. You have the infinite patience, but I don't get paid for this. You do.
okay.
So,
Well,
all-
maybe there's like some like justice there, right? Like,
No, there's no justice in any of it. All we're trying to do is have a conversation, but you cannot be somebody that will actually say, okay, Christians, everybody that believes in God doesn't know where we all came from. And for some reason, for you though, when I say you don't know where everything came from, you'll come up with it's an argument that makes me so frustrated because it's like, what are you talking about? You're telling me infinity existed because it existed. I'm trying to figure out why. My argument right now is people that believe in God, people that don't believe in God, don't know where we came from.
well,
So why is that so hard for you to admit?
Well, so you should check this one out. If time began to exist, then a timeless phase changes into a temporal phase. Anything that changes is in time, but the timeless phase is
God.
not in time. Therefore, time did not begin to exist. Because if it did begin to exist, then this timeless phase would change, which would mean that the timeless phase is in time. But obviously, the timeless phase is not in time, so time did not begin to exist.
Okay, I think so. Basically, the watchmaker never existed, just time.
Yeah, time always existed. Other things also always existed, but time always existed.
Okay, well then, I don't understand that what without a doubt is almost kind of to a point where you're kind of almost like a narcissist because you're just belittling the conversation.
You
Dude.
think that it's narcissistic to give formal arguments?
It's
You
not a
just
full-
have to say that every philosopher that's ever lived who's given formal arguments is a narcissist.
Okay, write mine down here.
Yeah.
Space down.
Oh,
You
wait.
ready?
You don't want to. This is going to be embarrassing for you, Carl. It's going to be like,
No, it's not. Go ahead.
oh,
Let's
God.
go.
I
we go.
apologize to everyone who knows what a syllogism is. Yeah, go for it.
Okay, number one. You ready?
Yep.
The universe existed always.
Granted.
God created the universe because he existed always.
Created the universe because he existed always.
Number three.
Don't grant the second one, but sure. What's number 3?
The universe and God can be interchanged.
Don't grant the third one. And if you think that the third one's true, you can't be a Christian.
Number 4, you ready?
Yeah.
We both do not know the origin of humanity in existence.
Don't grant the fourth one. Seems to have a false presupposition baked into it that there was an origin of existence. And I think that we do know the origin of humanity.
No, I'm talking about the origin of existence. What are we doing here?
Yeah, I think that's
Okay,
mistaken.
number 5. Number 5.
Yeah.
Because I have not seen it or felt it or touched it or tasted it, it does not exist until I experience it in any faculty that I need to prove me wrong.
I don't grant the fifth one. That's the opposite of what I believe.
It's 100% what you believe because you're
Do you
just
want
wanting.
me to? I had it written up. I thought that maybe it had.
Go for it.
Oh, I thought that maybe there was like some sort of. I don't know. I thought that you wouldn't need it anymore, but I can write it again.
No, go for it though. Explain to me.
Yeah, I do not think that you need to have sensory data for a thing in order to have evidence for it.
That's not true. You actually brought
That's
up
not
the
what I
Stanford
believe.
research on sensory data, by the way,
It's not
in your
wait,
last
what?
argument.
When?
When? The last
that could
person
be
before
true.
me.
But I don't remember doing that.
You did. In fact, I looked it up.
Which
And
one?
The last person before me.
What was the specific
person
study that I brought up?
The sensory data thing from, let's see here. What's his name? Here.
Are you talking about the Phil Papers survey? I hope you don't mean the Phil Papers survey.
No, that's not what I mean. It doesn't matter. Keep going. Go for it.
Oh, yeah. I move off of it quick. Hopefully nobody realizes that you blundered again.
No, I didn't blunder. What was the guy that you referenced that was, what was his name? I don't remember it right now. You're the full-time guy. So
I
you
have
tell
no
me.
idea. What's the claim? I can tell you who the guy is if you tell me the claim.
Who is the person? You gave the name. I'll just look up my search results real quick because apparently you want to play dumb. You actually did this.
I'm very well may have.
person
I
up.
have no memory of doing this.
Okay.
I don't know what you're talking about, given the information. At least I very well may have. You might totally help me out
You brought up
here.
sensory data, right?
I don't remember doing that. I mean, we were
don't-
talking about like qualitative experience that's relevant to philosophy of mind, but
You did that literally just now, though, right?
sensory data,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think so. I don't know. Can you give me like the specific instance? Like we talked about sensory data, specifically how I don't think that that's the only form of evidence.
Okay, hang tight. I'll find his name real quick. I apologize. It sucks that you should have this up. You bring it up.
I have no idea what you're talking about is the problem. I wish I knew what you were talking about. I don't know what you're talking about.
Hang tight. We'll find it. It's fine. Keep going. Keep doing what you're doing.
I don't know, man. It's a debate takes two people.
Let's see here.
Does
remember
anyone
his name
in
now.
chat remember? I have no idea. I remember bringing up the Phil Papers survey, talking about like compatibilism. There's like the conservation of energy, conservation of momentum argument, like the causal closure argument. But then that one didn't cite a study. That one just cites like laws of physics, like, you know. The
Well,
argument for my professor, Evan Fales, or Evan Fales isn't my professor, but like
no, that's who you brought up, Evan Fields. I apologize. That's the guy.
yeah, that's a philosopher.
No, okay? Well, you brought that up in the last argument.
Yeah, what does
right?
that have to do with sensory data?
You literally just got done talking about sensory data.
What about it?
You brought it up.
No, I didn't. It's all on recording.
You didn't bring
you
up
brought up
just
sensory
now.
data.
No,
It's all on recording. You can't lie.
Ian, if you want me to, this is going to look bad for you, bro. Okay?
I'm
You
not going to
cannot
take
tell
debate
me that
advice
you
from
brought
you.
up sensory data.
We talked
You
about
literally
sensory
typed
data
it in right there.
specifically how it's
You
not
typed it in
what
right
I
there. I do
need in
not
order to
think
have
you need to
evidence.
have. I do not. You typed it in.
Yes,
You do
that
not.
I do not think that you need sensory data for a thing in order to have evidence of it. Yes, that you don't. That's not necessary. You
Did you
need not
bring?
have sensory data in order to have evidence for something.
Okay, well then I'm a liar, I guess, right? You didn't bring it up, but apparently you did.
The only sense
But
that
I'm
I
a
brought it
liar.
up is to explain that I don't think you need it. I don't think you need sensory data to have evidence for something.
You don't
Is
understand the
there wait,
concept of sensory data.
wait, Carl, let's level with each other. You know, we've known each other. We're good friends. You know, is there a reason why you can't represent my position honestly?
I don't think you're representing your position honestly, and it's
What's
kind of
one thing that I'm
frustrating.
being dishonest about?
Okay,
Do you
because
think I'm
we just
lying when I say these things?
do you want to not interrupt me, or do you just want to go ahead and be the guy?
It
You can be the
depends.
guy.
If you start like misrepresenting me, I'm gonna jump in because I think you might be mistaken.
I got 2 words out, and you're interrupting me. Go ahead. You tell us what to do, man. You're
No, yeah, go
involved.
for it. Well, I'm telling you, you know,
No,
you
put the
can
screen back up.
talk, you
Put
can
the screen back.
tell me whatever you want to tell me, but if you start misrepresenting me, I'm going to interject and say that's not what I believe.
Can you put the screen back up?
Yep.
Thank you. Okay. So all I said, here's my argument. You don't know where the universe and all creation started. Neither can anybody that has a theist view.
Okay. Here's the rebuttal. It's highlighted on screen, as was given like
answer
5
it.
to
I
10
don't
minutes ago.
answer it.
It's a non sequitur. I reject premise 2, 3, 4, 5.
Okay. Answer just the basic question. Do you understand how all this all began?
I reject that this all had a beginning.
Why? You
Because
reject
of the
that
thing
all
that's
of this had a
highlighted on the
beginning.
screen. I don't think that there's a beginning. I think that time did not begin to exist. I think there's an infinite regress of time, as is indicated by the argument that if time began to exist, then there would be a timeless phase and a temporal phase, and the timeless phase would change into the temporal phase, but everything that changes is in time, so the timeless phase would be in time, and that's no bueno. So time did not begin to exist.
All right. You're here to hear first, guys. Ian knew and always knew, and that's all good. So guess what, guys?
I didn't always know.
I'm gonna say good night. Enjoy your dime.
You
Grab
know,
the view.
you know who else makes
Have a
this
drink.
argument?
It's all good.
There's a guy
Goodbye,
who makes
sir.
this same argument like 2,500 years ago. His name was Aristotle. You should look into him. You know, it's not like an Ian original argument, and in fact, it predates Christianity. But I mean, you know, I accept your surrender. Thanks as always for the discussion. Man, there's like so much straw. I'm going to be pulling straw out of my ass for the rest of the week, the way that I've been strawmanned here. This is like ridiculous. Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, instead of like rage quitting, you have like a wine quitter. You got to appreciate that. Let's read some supers. Nectu, thanks so much for the 13-month subscription. 13 months of chilling as a cool Corey is why I get up every day and eat my Wheaties. That's great. I'm glad. I'm glad that, you know, this can be what you live for. You know, you live for the stream, and one day you'll die for the stream, Nectu. Believe me. No, I appreciate that, Nectu. Thank you so much. Larry, thanks so much for the $50 super chat. $50 goes really, really far because I'm going back to school. I'm taking some undergrad philosophy courses to prep a application to philosophy grad school. I've learned like truly so much, and I've been able to refine my ideas, and I've been given so many great resources, so many, being in class, I learned because my philosophy knowledge is basically entirely self-taught. So I just have a lot of like gaps in my knowledge because, it's self-taught. I only read the areas that I was interested in, but being forced to engage with these other areas has been very enlightening to me. I've learned a lot. So I appreciate it, Larry. Thank you. Maddie Meister, thanks so much for the super chat. Philippines exist. 11th book in the New Testament, based. Maddie Meister, thanks so much for the super chat. Bro's asking for a taste of evidence. Freaky motherfucker. Yeah. What's that song that they used as the intro to? Fuck. It's like the superhero, but he's like the anti-hero. Fuck. This is so roundabout. God damn it. He was John Cena. As John Cena as who was he? Fuck. Peacemaker, maybe. I think Peacemaker. Yeah. Peacemaker. And then they had like, if you haven't seen the Peacemaker intro, like you should go watch it. It kicks ass both seasons. That show, the first season was a lot of fun. Second season, a bit less fun, but and one of the intro songs was "Do You Want to Taste It" by I think Wigwam. So yeah, this guy wanted to taste the evidence. Dr. Fudge, thanks so much for the super chat. Yeah, Ian, you need to be challenged. It's not like you do that literally every day when you do these shows. And also, obviously, you need to be challenged by a self-confessed, uneducated person. Well, at least he's self-confessed. You can't indict him for ignorance on his level of knowledge. Only for the fact that knowing that you have that level of knowledge should make you seriously reconsider the rest of the things that you say. Dr. Fudge, thanks so much for the super chat. Hey, FYI, I couldn't fit it, but I don't think an uneducated person can't challenge an educated person. I just think it's funny that it doesn't see the asymmetry at the outset and hasn't demonstrated competence. I'm not elitist. I didn't think that you were, but yeah, I mean, that's true. Magic Rectangle, thanks so much for the super chat. Joel Reed's Bible live stream yesterday. Every argument is God of the gaps. Carl Bismarck today. I don't understand the question or the answer. Therefore, God. Yeah, he's just a confused guy. In fact, it's just a total coincidence that he stumbled into a God debate. He doesn't even care about God. Glitterlock, thanks so much for super chat. God damn, Carl is incredibly stupid. Breathtaking. Holy shit, how do you maintain your composure? There's like a part of me that's worried. I don't know. Like there's like self-doubt when he keeps on strawmanning me and he's like, you just said this thing. You just said this thing. Like I have to take a second and be like, did I just say that thing? I don't think I say that thing. I don't believe that thing. So, but after you get over like that initial bump of like, this guy's a scumbag, and when he tells you that you just said a thing, you like he's just lying, right? Like as soon as you get over that bump, it's sky's the limit, frankly. Ray, thanks so much for the super chat. I've been lasering in on the Creation X materia in Genesis lately myself. It seems like even Christians believe that some kind of material always existed. They need to say that some type of material always existed. Well, I mean, they don't want to, but it does very clearly seem to be that in Genesis, right? He's hovering over the waters. Did he create the waters? It kind of reads like a demiurge, right? It kind of reads like Zeus. HTC, thanks so much for the super chat. Is this the same crying baby from the crybaby from the other day? Luckily. He's an infinite source of content, though. I'm sorry, chat. Unfortunately, he's just fantastic content. It's like if Jerry from Rick and Morty was like way more confident and like way dumber, and he's just here to whine. He's just here to whine at you. And it's like, I don't know, it's like the tutorial mission. Neck2 at night, thanks so much for the super chat. I think he thinks you work at an atheist call center, like you're some sort of atheist telemarketer. I am. Try atheism. Give it a try. Give it a go. My KB Commodore. I have like brutally fucked this up, dude. Oh no. In Phil 120, I typed up a translation of the lyrics to the Monk theme song into Formal Logic and showed it to my TA. He literally killed 2 weeks later. Carl B's attempted syllogism was far worse. That's like reasonable, right? Like, why would you even do that? It just doesn't follow. It's just a non sequitur. Why would you even do that? It doesn't even have any meaning. It's what do you don't understand what the tool is. Pat in the chat, thanks so much for the super chat. What a nothing burger of a syllogism. So according to P5, Carl won't believe you had a birthday. I mean, unless he was there, creep. Yeah. That's kind of weird that you want to see my mom give birth to me. That's kind of weird, Carl. Nick Wudo, thanks so much. I want to start reading on epistemology. Where should I start? Doing it mostly to argue against Tag better. Michael Huemer has a great book titled Understanding Knowledge. Michael Huemer, his book, Knowledge, Reality, and Value, that one's really good too, if you have literally zero experience with this. But I also think that you can likely like put Tag in a body bag just by reading like Michael Huemer's like the Veil of Skepticism book. He has like some book that was like, it's not a beginner book, but it's like where it's just his book where he defends phenomenal conservatism. I think that's probably sufficient to like totally body like all the Tag people, like really like fucking obliterate them. You know, I just intuit that it's not, my dude. And hey, if you want to, that was our previous reading group, but if you want to join the next reading group, we're reading On Virtue Ethics by Rosalind Hursthouse. It's a book that lays out the eudaimonic virtue ethics view. You have to read chapter 4, which is the one about Kant and Aristotle, the first in the virtuous motivation section. It's going to be great. We just finished the virtuous action section. Okay, with that, we'll go to the very next guest. Hey, how's it going?
Yo, Ian, bro, where have you been?
Been about and out.
Bro.
Yeah. What's up? How
Bro,
old
I
are you?
missed your live. I'm 19.
Yeah. What religion?
I'm not religious. I just came up to here to say that I love you so much, bro.
Hey.
You really got me into like philosophy and stuff. I'm about to join the book club probably tonight and get into, virtue ethics.
Hey, that's awesome. Yeah, we can't wait to have you. Thanks so much for coming on up. Appreciate you. We're only doing debates,
Yeah, all
so
right.
I will be moving on. Hey, how's it going? Mike? Mike. If you're off the app, I can't hear you, Mike. You got to be on the app.
Hello?
Hey, what's up? How's it going? How old are you?
30. How are you?
Yeah. What religion?
Christian.
What makes you think that God exists?
I'd like to go over your time argument that you had with the previous guy.
Yep, let's do it. There's a bit of an echo as well. I don't know if you have if you don't have headphones in, maybe you consider putting some in, or
I have AirPods in.
okay. That's fine. Sure. So the argument's this: if time began to exist, then a timeless phase changes into a temporal phase. Anything that changes is in time, but the timeless phase is not in time. Therefore, time did not begin to exist.
When it comes to anything that changes is in time, I feel like that's a bad assumption. Why would you assume that anything changes has to be in time?
Yeah, because everything that changes has at least two phases of its life, where one is before and one is after, and if you have these like separate distinct moments where one is before and one is after, well, at that point you just have time. That just is a time series to have moments that are ordered sequentially.
Okay, fair enough. I can agree with that. I have a question about that, though, when it comes to time being infinite. You believe that time is infinite, or has always been, right?
Yeah.
How do you actually, in practice, live out an infinite number of time until we get to today?
So
If there's an infinite amount of time before today, how does that actually happen?
yeah, I think that the B theory solves this quite easily. So there's kind of two views in philosophy of time. There's the A theory, which holds that only the present exists. And then there's the B theory, which holds that all moments exist, that all moments are equally real, and that passage is like mind dependent, that we experience passage, or we seem to experience passage based on the configuration of our brains at specific times. But in fact, like all these moments are actual.
You think passage is mind dependent? You think
I
there was no
do,
time
yeah.
before minds?
No. I think that there are moments before minds. I think that there's no passage. I think that all moments eternally
What?
exist. But the phenomena of passage, I think, requires minds.
Okay, so if time didn't pass before minds existed,
The
like I don't really
appearance,
understand
there
the.
is nothing to have the appearance of passage when minds don't exist. The view is that
So
like the entire timeline exists.
if a tree falls in the woods and you're not there, then does it make a sound? Like I don't
Yeah,
really
it
understand your
does.
argument. Okay, so if time is there, passing time, and nobody's there to witness it, does it pass?
No, I think passage is something that is grounded in minds. I don't
Why
think
would you
that
assume
there's
that?
I don't think that there's like genuine coming into existence of new moments or genuine going out of existence. I think that this is something that our mind presents to us because it's evolutionarily useful.
You don't think there's any time outside of the mind. So if all humans and all
That's
minds
not, I
stay
didn't
free,
say that.
isn't that the logical entailment of your argument? How is
No.
it not?
I think all
Okay, sorry,
moments
can you
in
explain to me
time
more?
exist. I think that they're all actual.
How does a moment in time exist? And how does it get to the next moment without a passage of time,
Wait,
without a
sorry, what's the
mind?
question?
If a moment, you said all moments exist equally.
Yeah, all moments are
How do you
real.
get to the next moment if there's no minds?
That
If
moment is
time can't
already
pass?
actual. That moment is actual just at that time.
Yeah, how do you get to the next moment if there's no
All
minds
the
and you don't
moments
think
are
that?
actual.
Do you think all moments happen at the exact same time? Then I think
No,
you're
they're
like
different times,
creating
right?
something that's not time. How do
Do
you?
you want to,
So
is like the debate strategy here to like intentionally
no, I
not try
really
to
am trying to
engage with the
understand you.
argument? Like, it doesn't feel like it. Sure. So, I mean,
Okay,
I
can
can,
you here write
yeah,
it down in the syllogism for me so that we can
it's not
actually
a
move on with
syllogism
this?
type argument. It's like
Every
it's like a
argument's a
position.
syllogism.
It's a position. The position has a
If
description to it, but there isn't like I can give you a syllogism for eternalism if you want. You know, I can motivate eternalism,
give
but
me a
it seems
syllogism
like
for
what
why
you're
you
not
think time doesn't pass
understanding.
without a
Okay,
mind.
that's fine. I can give you the syllogism. Because you're being like incredibly obtuse, it's going to be like incomprehensible to you because you know you're going to get back what you've been giving. So
I don't know how you think I've been
if
obtuse. I've been trying to
if
good faith go through your
Weyl
argument.
curvature exists and is non-zero, then four-dimensionalism, at least four-dimensionalism is true. If tides exist and change at different times, then Weyl curvature exists. And if tides exist and change at different times, therefore, at least four dimensions exist. Yep, so here you go.
Okay, so how does that prove that there's no passage of time outside of a mind?
Yeah, because it demonstrates that the fourth dimension is actual.
Okay, so the fourth dimension doesn't have. Can you explain to me how that proves there's no?
The fourth dimension is time. So in the same way that we have these spatial dimensions, there's also this temporal dimension that's just like the spatial dimensions.
I'm really trying to understand. I'm not trying to be obtuse. I'm sorry if it's coming off that way.
Okay.
Where does this in this syllogism? Where does the mind fit into the syllogism to where time does not pass
Why does
without a
it need
mind?
to be in the
Like,
syllogism? The syllogism just
because I asked you
establishes that
for
all moments are actual.
sorry, I cut out for a second. I asked you for a syllogism for why you believe that time doesn't pass without a mind, and you gave me this.
Yeah.
What part of the syllogism points to that?
Yeah, because if four dimensions exist, then that means that there is not passage of time, that all moments of time are actual.
Do you actually believe this?
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be like obtuse.
Yeah,
Really
I do
believe
actually
that
believe
there.
it. And in fact, it's like a really good argument, it seems. It's
Okay,
such a good argument that it seems like you don't even have like a critique of it.
I want to have a critique of it. I'm trying to understand it because it seems illogical, and I'm sure a lot of people in the chat agree. Could you walk me through it so that I fully understand?
Yeah, so there's this thing called Weyl curvature. Now, In 3 dimensions and less, it's 0. The value of it is 0. But Weyl curvature is the thing that causes the tides. You know, it's the propagation through space-time of gravity waves. It's one of them, but it's the one that's responsible for tides. So if tides exist and they change at different times, then, you know, Weyl curvature exists. Otherwise, there would be no medium for the gravity to travel through. So, and because Weyl curvature, in order for it to exist and be non-zero, you need at least 4 dimensions. That means that 4 dimensions must exist. Now we have our 3 spatial dimensions, right? We have, you know, the X, Y, and the Z, but then the 4th dimension is time. So in the
Do you not
same
think
way,
that time and matter are linked from Einstein's theory of E equals mc squared?
they are. And if you accept that, then you actually accept my view of time. If you believe in
How does,
space-time.
how does that happen?
Yeah, because insofar there's going to be some reference frame that matches every point in time to every point in space.
So matter and time are linked. How does that prove that without a mind that it doesn't happen? I don't understand.
Because if all moments are actual, then there are no
What does that
potential
mean that
moments
all
that come
moments
into
are actual?
existence. All moments exist.
Put it with more words. You're smuggling in definitions. I'm not trying to call you
It's like
bad faith, but I'm just trying to
it's
understand.
hard
Use more
to
words to say it.
it's hard to describe this in any other term. Like if you don't understand what it means for something to exist, if you don't understand what it means for a time to exist, the view is that in the same way that this time exists, all times exist, but they're not right now. In the same way, think about it like space. So 10 miles away from here exists. It's actual, but it's not right here. So 10 minutes from now exists, but it's not right now. That's the view.
So it exists. I'm going to be clear. I'm not trying to be obtuse. I really don't know how this has anything to do with a mind making time not pass forward when
It's
it's
because
not around.
passage doesn't actually happen at the sum total state of affairs level.
If it doesn't actually happen, then how do we even measure time? Is the measurement
Because your mind
only
produces
dependent on
that.
our mind? Our mind produces
Also,
the
yeah, obviously
measurable.
measurements, like the measurement of the thing is mind dependent, but the thing can still exist mind independent.
Can you give me an example of what the world would look like without a mind to observe it? Is it just not move? Does it not? Does nothing pass? Is nothing measurable outside of a mind?
Well,
Is it not
yeah.
even
So
like?
think about it like this. I don't know if you've ever done like video editing, but you have like the timeline down. You know, that's like a timeline that represents like 2-dimensional thing. Now, imagine that there was some way to represent like the 3rd dimension there as well, and you just have like these like objects that are moving through all 4 dimensions. They're like 4-dimensional objects where they change along the 4th dimension.
Okay, if they change along the 4th dimension, wouldn't that imply that there's a passage of time if they're changing? Didn't you
No,
already?
when I say they change, what I'm saying is that they're different at different moments. At
That
this
is
moment
what
they're this
change
way,
is.
at that moment they're that way. Yeah, and that's compatible with the view.
Okay, the definition of change is that it's one way and then it becomes a different way. And you said
Hmm.
that that can only happen inside time.
Yeah.
So time is passing without a
Wait, sorry,
mind.
that doesn't follow. There's time is a
I think it
dimension.
does.
Oh, it doesn't, and let me explain why. So these things are one way at one time, a different way at a different time. So obviously time is still there, and the change is going to be dependent on this time. But you don't need real passage in order to have this difference. Because what it is, in the same way, is that, you know, there's like a change between like my finger and my arm, but it's like a spatial change. So it's like that, but with time.
You can't have a spatial change outside of time. Do you believe
You
that
can't
or
have
no?
space without time.
True. So what do you think is, do you think time is outside of space? Is time
I think
independent
that
of
they're
space?
interconnected.
So I know, but you're talking about a 4th dimension where there is no space, correct?
No, they're well, wait, I don't know what you mean. It's like asking
You're
like, oh,
saying
this like
the fourth
X dimension where there is no Y dimension. I mean, for every point in the X dimension, that's going to be a corresponding point on the Y dimension.
Okay, I don't want to straw man you. Okay, you stop me exactly where you think I'm wrong of your own opinion. Okay,
Okay.
the fourth dimension is time, in
Mhm.
your own words, correct?
Yep.
Did the fourth dimension exist independent of the other dimensions?
No, they're all dependent. They're interdependent.
So matter can't exist without time.
Wait, sorry. What dimension
And
do you think matter is?
for
That
your sake of your argument, 1 through 3, I don't even really agree
that
that
came out of nowhere, right?
time is
Like
the fourth dimension. Do you agree that there's matter in the fourth dimension, or is it just linked to?
I think that matter exists within space-time.
Okay, I think this view is ridiculous, and I don't
Okay,
think
I think that
anybody
this
serious
is
actually
like
believes
I
it.
think that this is about as good of a critique as you've given this entire time. Is you just throw your hands up and say this view is ridiculous? Is there like
You didn't give
I
me
mean,
any reason
unfortunately,
actually to
it's like just empirically verified, right? Take it up with
It's not
Einstein.
empirically verified. Do you believe in
It is.
entropy?
Wait,
That
sorry,
it's
wait,
the
sorry.
usable.
If you agree with general relativity, then it is. This is like the object that
Okay, let's
encompasses
move on
space
to.
and time is the four-dimensional space-time, right? Like it's literally you against Einstein here in terms of like
I
our view of physics.
I disagree. I
Okay.
disagree. Let's move on to the next
Wait,
point.
wait, let's stick on this
This
point.
is my second
Let's
critique.
talk to a physicist about this exact point. Hey, Quantanaut, isn't four-dimensionalism, at least four-dimensionalism, literally presupposed? Isn't that like the center, like beating heart of general relativity?
I didn't
Not
say I
just
didn't
general,
believe in
but
fourth
also
dimension.
special relativity, which is even more simple.
True.
And I've
didn't-
tested that myself.
I didn't say I didn't believe in four dimensions. I just said that your view that their time does not pass without a mind is what I don't believe.
The perception of time passing is what requires minds. In reality, all moments of time exist equally. In the same way that all positions in space exist equally.
You don't believe time is on a timeline? Like we wouldn't be
It
able to.
is.
That's not mutually exclusive.
The thing that's mind dependent is the perception of passage. There are
You didn't say
different
that
moments
earlier. You
of
said that-
time, but
You said there were no passage.
the perception
The
of it,
analogy
that there
is
isn't
that
like
time is a
genuine
frozen
passage.
river.
This is you can ask the chat. I'm not trying to lie. I swear you said the passage of time does not happen without a mind. And I
Well, and that's true. That's
several
literally
times
true.
throughout.
Yes. That is what
Okay,
I'm
so
telling you.
don't
That
switch it.
passage
You're
is
saying-
perceptual.
Again, the common
why would
analogy
you
that
even bring
people
up the
use
point
is
that
that
it's
time is like a frozen river. In that, like, it has, an extension of itself. It goes in a line, and when you're inside of it, it kind of looks like it's going in a direction. But if you were to look at it from the outside, whatever that means in this analogy, it's actually all just sort of frozen.
So you think the future is already set in stone, and you can't change the future?
I mean, in a sense, yeah. I mean, the exact nature of that depends on quantum mechanics, but we won't go into that.
I think that you're certainly causally responsible for the things
yeah.
that happen next, right? Like this slice is
Why would I be
causally
causally
responsible for the next
responsible?
one because
Yeah.
there's like a causal dependence between this slice and the next one, or like the progression of them.
Okay, I don't want to be derailed by the causal responsibility. I think that's a separate argument. I think it's a good thing to talk about, but I don't think it's what we're talking about.
But,
If you think
to give a specific example of this, if you want to look up the relativity of simultaneity, the basic premise is that two events that look simultaneous or, happen at the exact same moment for one observer might, for a different observer, look like one event happens in their past and then another in their future. And since neither perspective is preferred over the other in physics, and, they're both equally valid, then it must follow that all moments in time, both the past, present, and future, are all equally real. Because you could arbitrarily pick a reference frame in which one is in the past, one is in the future, or one is in the present.
So you think they're all equally real simultaneously?
Yeah,
Or they're all
that's what special relativity shows
not
us.
simultaneously, to clarify.
Okay, you guys are disagreeing, I guess.
They're different moments. They're at different times. They're all actual, but they're actual at different times. In the same way that, all space is actual, but it's not right here.
The phrase
the
different
common
times.
example is, say you have two lightning rods, and from one observer that's perhaps stationary with relative to these lightning rods, maybe they get hit at what looks like the exact same time. But if you're on a train moving past the lightning rods, it might look like one lightning rod was hit in the past, and then one will get hit in the future. And both of those viewpoints are equally as valid as the other.
What does that have to do with the past and the present happening at the same time?
Wait,
You think
that's
just
not. Wait,
because
wait, wait.
I
That's
understand that
not the claim, right? The claim is not that they're happening at the same time. It's that they're all actual. It's that the entire timeline exists. It's that there's like this 4-dimensional space-time. That's the claim.
okay, sorry, I didn't mean I misspoke.
Yeah,
So I
this is just
understand.
one way to
I
show
understand
that.
You're showing that
Because
showing
you
that
can
matter-
always pick a reference frame in which two events that happen from one perspective at different times can look like they're happening at the same time for a different observer. And since we all agree that, the present is definitely real, regardless of your viewpoint in time, if you can arbitrarily pick a reference frame that makes two events happen at the same time, then that means that the past and the future must be as real as the present.
Okay, let me critique this for like 30 seconds. So, what you're getting at, tell me if I'm wrong, is that if the person's riding the train, we have in physics found that time and matter are linked enough to where if you go at like
What?
light
This
speed,
has
you
nothing to
actually-
do with matter.
Where's the matter coming
It has
from?
nothing to do with matter.
Nobody said matter.
Yeah,
you
this
keep
has
on
nothing to do with
inserting
matter.
in here.
Why would somebody on train see at a different time somebody just standing next to the lightning bolt? Oh, they see it
Due to time
they see it
dilation.
at different times.
The fact that the speed of light must
Yes,
be the
time
same in all
dilation has to
inertial
do with
reference
matter.
frames.
Time
No,
dilation
it has to do with
matter.
velocity.
That's matter.
It has
That's
to do with
matter's
velocity,
movement.
not matter.
Okay, how do you have velocity without matter?
Like light.
Does matter light? I mean, light matters.
Light travels at a velocity, and it's not made out of matter.
Light is not made out of matter.
Correct.
Tragic.
Light rays are not matter, is what you're trying to tell me. How's it
Correct.
measurable inside of our universe if it's not matter?
Oh
It's
wow,
what we call a
if
force
time
carrier.
isn't
It's a boson.
if time isn't matter, then how do we measure it? Oh, brilliant question.
Eh. But yeah,
Are you a pure
photons,
materialist?
particles
Do you
of
believe
light
that
belong to a class of particles called bosons, which are not matter.
do you believe in things that are supernatural then? Like, isn't
No.
the definition
No.
of atheism, the logical entailment of atheism?
No, it's
Is
not
that everything's
supernatural.
material?
It's
It's
definitely
the
natural.
you have
It's
wait,
just a
sorry.
boson.
Wait, this guy's like turbo confused. No, it's the reverse. Materialism would entail atheism. Atheism doesn't entail materialism.
How does atheism not entail materialism?
You could be like a Buddha. You could literally be a supernaturalist and an atheist. You could be like a Buddhist, for example, or you could be like a naturalist who holds that there's like immaterial things. Like you could be like a Cartesian dualist. You could hold that there's like a mental substance, that like your mental experience is like this secondary dual substance. You could be a Platonist. You could hold that numbers exist. None of those things are gods. So
Okay, I'll agree with that for the sake of argument, at least.
sure.
Um,
Yeah.
do
Did
you not believe in
Yeah, go for it.
Do you not believe in entropy?
I do believe in
use-
entropy.
That the usable amount of matter inside the
Entropy
universe
is a
going down?
consequence of the laws of thermodynamics.
Yes. So if time is infinite, and we have an infinite amount of time before today,
Ooh,
why have we not
sorry.
run out of entropy,
Unfortunately,
specific matter?
Unfortunately, one of the prerequisites for applying the laws of thermodynamics is that energy is conserved within a system. But we know observationally that on cosmological scales, energy is not conserved. Therefore, you cannot use the second law of thermodynamics as is.
There
you
are
don't believe
also
in
there are
second
also
law
models
physics?
under which entropy, although it's like decreasing on average, or it's increasing on average, it would decrease under specific models. Like it would go through cycles.
Yeah, exactly. But that's precisely because energy is not conserved in our universe. That allows that possibility.
What do you mean energy is not conserved within our universe? Where does it go?
It doesn't go anywhere. It's not conserved. That's the point. If it was conserved, then it would have to go somewhere. But it's not conserved, so it can change over time.
Explain to me how it goes from conserved to not conserved inside of our system.
Yeah,
Inside of our
that
closed
follows
system.
from something called Noether's theorem, where a conserved quantity of nature relates to a symmetry of that system. And energy conservation specifically comes from something called time translation symmetry, which our universe does not obey on cosmological scales.
Can you use any more words for a layman, please?
Uh,
Just don't list the theories. Tell me how they actually work.
properties of system relate to conserved values, like energy. But universe doesn't have that property that makes energy conserved.
Why
Is that simple enough? Or?
Why do we assume that the universe does not have the quality that can conserve this type of energy?
Because we see that it's expanding.
Yes.
Therefore, it does not obey time translation symmetry. Time translation symmetry means that the laws of physics are identical over time. But we see that the laws of physics are actually changing over time. You know, the expansion rate, it's changing.
Changing in what way? Not a constant, is what you're saying?
Correct, it's not constant. That's what changing means.
Why wouldn't you just assume that the universe is bigger than you thought, then the universe is actually growing?
It has nothing to do with the size, it's how it's changing over time. We see that the expansion rate is getting faster over time, which means
At a
that
random-
it does not
at a-
obey the
at a
symmetry that is
non-constant rate.
required for energy conservation.
How does matter accelerate at a non-constant rate over time? Is it random?
What?
Well, it's not the matter that's accelerating, it's the
Baffling
expansion
question.
of space-time itself. It's the scale
Space-time is
factor of the
expanding.
universe. Yeah.
I think you guys are just, I'm gonna be honest. I feel like you're just lost in the thinking too hard about it to where you just create theories that don't actually make any sense and you assume that they're real.
No, I'm an
Well, let's just ask you
experimentalist.
like this guy's like a PhD candidate in physics. I mean, I don't know. Can you tell us?
There's PhD
I'm not a
candidates in
theorist.
physics that are.
Can you tell us what like Newton's three laws are? I mean, you think that physics is bullshit. Like, what are Newton's three
I
laws?
don't think physics is bullshit. I just
That's
disagree with
kinda
this
what
one
you-
particular physicist.
Well, this
Yeah,
is
unfortunately.
so this is like
You're
unfortunately
kind
like
of trying to
foundational.
deny basic physics.
Yeah, this is like
No,
foundational
Noether's
stuff.
theorem is basically the foundation of all of modern physics.
Okay, so under this physics argument that you're giving, this is basic physics, why does any physicist believe that there's a God? Or there's zero?
What?
There are PhDs?
What the fuck?
You're making an
Actually,
argument
most there's
We're arguing about
of-
time.
the physicists
No, I'm
will
getting.
tend to be atheists.
You're giving
more
an
often
argument
than
from
not.
appeal to authority, and I'm just critiquing that.
Wait, sorry, you were asking
Authority?
about physics, right? How do you think we should go
Yes,
about
you said
doing
you're a
the
PhD,
physics?
so you know more.
Do you think we should go about doing the physics based on vibes? Do you think we should like just vibe our way through the conclusion? You know, we should, whatever is intuitive, well, that's what I think physics are. Whatever's unintuitive, well, that must be fake.
No, I don't think we should just vibe our way
Also,
through
to be
physics.
clear, I'm not an
I think physics is a
authority.
very-
I don't have power over you. I can't arrest you. I'm an expert. I'm making an argument from expertise. But if you want me to actually like explain the mathematics, I can.
Okay, your argument from expertise is logical fallacy because there's physicists that are PhDs that believe in God. Yes or no?
Well, wait, sorry, are there any physicists who are PhDs that disagree with what Quantonaut just said about Noether's theorem?
Are there? You said it was. I don't know. I'm not an expert in physics, but you said this is a basic physics.
The
argument.
answer is no.
That disproves
the answer
God.
is not
So
any
does
good
it-
Wait,
physicist
sorry,
would
wait,
disagree with
sorry.
this.
What this does is demonstrate my theory of time to be true. This is a defense against your internal critique of my position. Nobody has claimed that this is a disproof of God. You just had to strawman us in that way after the debate didn't go the way that you wanted it to.
Okay, is this not a
Mhm.
foundational argument for why you don't believe in God?
This is the argument for why I don't believe in God down here. That if time began to exist, then a timeless phase changes into a temporal phase, that anything that changes is in time, and that the timeless phase is not in time. Therefore, time did not
Yes.
begin to
And
exist.
this whole argument is about how time doesn't begin to exist, which is a
Yep.
physics-based argument. And if
Well,
any physicist knows this because it's basic physics, why would any
wait,
physicist?
sorry,
who
wait,
has a
that's not the
PhD believe
claim.
in God? Can you finish? Can you let me finish my sentence?
That's not the claim. You strawmanned us. The claim is
What did I
not
strawman?
that this is a physics claim. The claim is that this is a philosophy claim. This is a philosophical argument.
Okay. Does it matter if it's a physics claim or a philosophical claim from what I
Yeah.
said? They can be both.
So, what's the critique?
He made an appeal to expertise. Do you
What's the
think
wait?
that
Sorry, what's the
there's?
critique of the argument? Because you need to reject a premise, otherwise the conclusion just follows.
I don't know enough about physics to go and reject any of the
It's not even a
claims, but I think
physics
it's
argument. Okay.
the time not having a beginning is a physics argument, right?
That's the conclusion.
No,
Yes.
you proved that time doesn't have a beginning through physics, did you not? That's
No,
our,
you can
our
also
time
do it through
conversation.
philosophy.
That's a
I didn't ask if you can
philosophical
also,
argument.
but that was your main argument for why it doesn't exist.
No,
We
the
started this
argument.
argument
This
for why
is
it doesn't
it's
exist,
a
and you brought up
philosophical
this argument.
argument. Like
That's why you
maybe you're
claim that it's
illiterate, maybe you just can't read it. But what's the physics that's being invoked in premise 1, 2,
I'm
and
not
3?
looking at the screen. We just had like
Okay.
30-minute conversation about physics.
I'll summarize it back to you.
And then you're
Well,
telling
yeah,
me,
and to be clear, if you remember, the reason why we talked about physics is because you were being incredulous about the B theory of time, which, by the way, even if the A theory of time is true, the conclusion of this argument could still be true.
how is that?
The argument would still follow. The premises would still be true
Yeah, tell me the A theory of time and how it would still be true.
because there's no contradiction.
Did you hear the words I said? I said
Yeah,
the
tell
A
me
theory of
how
time.
under the A theory of time it would still be true.
I don't remember what your A theory of time was. I'm
It's
asking you
the
to repeat
idea
it.
that presentism, it's presentism, the idea that the present exists and that the past and future do not exist.
How would that not imply that time passes without a mind?
Under the A theory, time does pass. Under the B theory, it doesn't.
Okay. So if the time passes in the A theory,
Yes.
there has to have been an infinite amount of time before it. If you believe in
Yes.
infinite time. If you
Yeah.
believe time didn't begin and it keeps passing, how do you live out an infinite number of days?
From when? That presupposes a starting point. The question has a loaded
No, you
presupposition into
presupposed.
it. You
I'm just going
presuppose
based on
that
your
there's ever not an infinite series, that there's
I'm not presupposing that.
infinitely an infinite series, and that you're adding on to it day by day.
You're treating infinity like it's a number, but it's not. It's a cardinality.
You tell me if I'm wrong, okay? Infinity implies there's an infinite amount of time before today.
No, it's not a number. If you took like the cardinality of the set of all moments, well, that would be infinite.
I mean, what is there an infinite amount of if not a number? I don't
It's not,
understand.
so it's not an
It
amount.
seems like a nonsensical.
Infinity isn't a number, it's not an amount, but
When you
there
say
are
it passes,
cardinalities
does it
that are
imply there's an
infinite.
amount? Passage of
So to
time
give you a
implies an
specific
amount.
example of why it's not a number, usually when you add 1 to a number, it turns into a different number. But if you were to add 1 to infinity, it's still infinity. It's the same number. Which, means that it doesn't obey the laws that numbers normally obey. So it's a different kind of mathematical object, and we call it a cardinality.
So, under your current level of physics knowledge, how do you live out an infinite number of days? I mean, even how would
You
What's
how do you
don't.
even conceptualize something that's not a number?
Presupposing that it's a number, but it's not.
What is it if it's not a number?
A cardinality. I've said this.
Can you measure a cardinality?
What do you mean by measure?
with a
Like go out with
tool, or-
what do you mean?
Then how did time pass if you can't measure it?
Time passes
The
under the A
measurement,
theory.
the measurement is our. Yeah, okay. I don't even know what that means, but
Okay, well, it's all
I don't
like
even know
literally
if it
every
meant
term
that.
has been explained to you in that like multiple times. So that's
we're
a
talking about the A
bad
theory right
reflection
now.
of
And
you.
we're talking about the entire A theory right now. And
Yeah.
you just said a sentence which it's explained in the A theory, which is clearly not because I'm asking questions about it. That
No,
are
passage exists on
rudimentary
the
to
A
the actual.
theory.
Yeah, and passage implies a number of time passes.
Nope.
What is passing? What is passing if not a number?
Nope. Because it could just be a
Countable
cardinality. You could just add one more
Can a
moment to the
cardinality
set of all
pass?
moments.
Yeah, so there's more than one moment, right?
More than one moment? Yeah, there's more than one moment. I agree with that.
There might be even 2 moments or 3 moments or
Yeah,
4.
yeah,
And then
yeah.
it
But
probably
this
goes to
starts with a
5 when it
finite
gets-
base, whereas my view is going to hold that
doesn't.
there is not a moment in time where there's a finite base.
It could be, for example, for every number on the number line from negative, going to negative infinity to positive infinity, there exists a unique moment of time. This is a well-defined object.
Okay. At a unique moment of time on a timeline. In the A theory of
Yeah,
time,
is the
it's on a
timeline finite?
timeline.
Or is the number
Even
line
if it's
finite?
even if it's infinite, the number still goes down. You can still
Okay.
count the movement of the timeline. If you're going to the left,
Yeah, you
the
can
movement
count it
is
like
the amount.
comparatively. Like
Yeah,
you can
that's
say
what
that
point
it's
is
that's what
that
one
it's
more
not
than
a
previous,
point.
one less
amounts
than
are only
previous.
counting comparatively. You just in your previous sentence you said you can't count it. There is no
It's not a
number.
number,
The
but
point
you
is
can
that
compare them.
That's what numbers
Yeah.
are.
Oh,
Comparative
sorry, you're a bit
to each
confused
other.
about this. We're talking about
I'm
cardinalities.
not.
Unfortunately,
I'm talking about.
yeah,
We're talking
I'm
about
not.
both.
He says,
I think you're a
God,
bit.
he's like,
I think you're a bit
getting fucking
confused. We're
mad.
talking about
Just calm
numbers in
down.
comparison to cardinalities.
Wait, sorry. I literally have a math degree. I don't think you want to. I don't think this is going to go well for you. But I do encourage you, right? Because you hate appeals to authority. I do
Another.
encourage you to continue.
I didn't appeal anything.
Don't
to
tell them that
authority.
there's
The only
different
ones that
types
you
of
had.
infinity. That'll break them.
Yeah.
Okay. Please explain to me how a passage of time doesn't imply that there's an amount changing.
The cardinality is comparatively higher than what it was previously, but ultimately the cardinality is still infinite.
And can you measure that with a number?
So, and that's actually a good lesson about infinity is that you can compare
Answer my
infinities and they can
question.
have different sizes. Whoa, just calm down. No need to get upset.
You've been more rude than me. You can ask the chat. And they're
Chat,
probably on
who's
your
been more
side.
rude? I don't know.
The
It's
passage
The
of
fact that his
time.
profile picture, I'm pretty sure, is from Steins Gate is very ironic.
oof, brutal.
Isn't Science Gate a good anime? Like what? You don't like it?
It's about time travel, which is deeply ironic for this conversation.
Hmm.
Yeah, it is ironic, but doesn't mean that you're right. I don't know what to tell you.
Sure. Well, I mean, do you have like any ongoing critique? I mean, we could just get this done pretty quickly, I think. How many things does God know?
Can we just stay on?
Yeah, I
For
just
like
want to know
another
how many
minute.
things does God know? You don't think that there can be infinites? How many things does God know?
I believe there can be infinites. I'm just critiquing your idea.
Oh, I see. Sure. So then what's the problem with my view?
You said that I don't believe there's infinite time. I think there can be infinite things.
Okay. Why can't there be infinite? So can you take these infinite things and arrange them in some sort of order?
I just want to know how the passage of time doesn't imply an amount.
Let's
I
say
feel
we
like you're
took
jumping between.
let's say we took
You're
half of
jumping
these
between that
infinite
you think there is
things,
an amount.
and then we added an additional. We took one thing from one category and then put it over the other category. But both of them are still infinite. Doesn't that imply that there's some problem with the things that God knows? Doesn't that mean that omniscience is impossible?
Isn't that an argument that for that there is no infinities? you
Yeah,
don't
this
believe
would
in infinity?
this would disprove God's existence is the point.
But you do believe in infinites, so
I do, but how
argument,
about
it doesn't disprove
I
anything.
pull the ripcord and then I say, well, God doesn't exist, and now I hold to the Hartle-Hawking state, and we meet in the middle and then agree that there's no God.
Join me.
I didn't disagree there was infinites. I just your reasoning for why there is no start to time is illogical. It's not. I'm not arguing that there's no infinites. It's possible that time can be infinite or didn't have a starting point. You just haven't given me an argument that has convinced me.
Oh, well, can you tell me which premise you disagree with? I got premise 1, if time began to exist, then a timeless phase changes into a temporal phase. Premise 2, anything that changes is in time. Premise 3, the timeless phase is not in time, therefore time did not begin to exist.
I think what fundamentally disproves that time is infinite is that
Which premise do you disagree
If it-
with? You need to accept the
anything changes-
conclusion.
I disagree with that anything that changes within time.
Do you agree
That's
that
a
anything that changes,
presupposition.
there's some moment where it's before and some moment where it's after?
Do you think that there's things outside of time?
Wait, do you want to answer my question? Would you agree or
I
disagree
don't.
with that?
I
that
said
there's
no. I don't,
you don't
because
think
I
that? Oh,
believe
yeah,
that-
sure. Can you give me the example of the change? A thing that changes that doesn't have two moments where one's before and one's after? That's a contradiction, actually. You have a
I don't have
thing
an
that's in
example, dude.
incompatible ways in the same state. Well, at that point,
You
you just
prove to
affirm
me that nothing-
contradictions.
Okay, do you believe? Can you prove to me that there's nothing outside of time?
Did I ever make that claim?
You just did right there in the presupposition of what you just argued.
Only if it
My-
changes, there's nothing
my-
that changes that's outside of time. So, for example, I believe that numbers exist and that numbers are outside of time, but numbers don't change.
Is it impossible there's another paradigm outside of time where things can change?
Another paradigm?
kind of way.
I don't think that there's a mind
Yeah.
outside of time, which would be the house for a paradigm. So, no.
I don't assume that change only happens because of the mind.
Okay. That's fine. But which premise does that reject?
I told you the rejection of the premise is that I think that change can happen outside of time. You just
Okay. Can
listed
you give me the
something
example
that
of the
is
change
unprovable.
outside of time? The change
No.
specifically that doesn't have the before and the after?
Is it theoretically impossible? Is what I'm asking you.
Is it? Oh, yes. Yeah, it is. Yeah.
There's no paradigm that's possible to where
Yeah.
something changes.
Yeah. Insofar as like a change would imply that it's in one state at one moment and a different state at the next moment. Yeah. You know, this is time. You have a time series there.
Hmm.
When you have moments ordered from before to after, that just is time.
If you define that change that way, where it implies time, I agree with you.
Okay. So
I agree
you,
with you on this point.
you agree that time did not begin to exist then?
I think our current time began to exist. Doesn't mean that there could be another paradigm of time before this one. Our system could have began in time, and then there could have been another system outside of it or
There is no
around
before
at
it. If time did not begin to exist, there is no before.
If there's two sets of time,
Before
is what I'm
time?
saying. Is it not theoretically possible? And this is just like bullshit. I don't even know if it's. I'm just saying it's not
contradictory.
theoretically impossible. There can't be two
It's
sets of time
contradictory.
inside.
It directly contradicts with itself.
It's theoretically impossible for another dimension to happen that has its own set of time. Like I'm not
That's different.
I'm not saying that.
They would
Are
still
you
be like
saying that it's
connected onto
God
the same
time?
manifold, I think.
Yeah, you think you're not 100% sure. I'm
You
asking
could
if you're
if there's any interaction between them at all, then yeah, you could define
I'm not saying there
you
isn't.
could define a metric between them.
Why could you not jump between them theoretically? I mean, this is just like in the weeds. I don't even know.
Jump
what I'm talking
between them.
about. Like
Because you would need to
it's just in
leave
the
at
weeds
one point
theoretical.
and then arrive at the next one, which means that there's going to be parity between the two times, which means that they're connected. They're actually one time series.
Okay, fair enough. But
I mean, maybe you have
They
something
still
really
have-
funky like a two-dimensional time space, but that gets really weird.
yeah, I don't even really want to talk about this. I'm just saying. I just got not triggered, but like I'm just disagreeing with you because you sound
Listen.
so sure that there can't be another time frame paradigm outside of this one, and I just don't feel like you have enough evidence for
I
that.
don't think that word
You're not
means what you
certain.
think it means.
Okay. Well, I mean, you failed to reject a premise. Do you have anything else?
No, you can go move on to the next
All
person.
right. Hey, thanks for coming. I appreciate you. Make sure you're double tapping on that screen, sharing it with your friends, doing all the good stuff.
In that case, I'll hop down as well.
Hey,
See you
thanks
later.
for coming on. Appreciate you.
Yep.
Wait, before you go, wait, don't leave. He's gone. No, I was gonna grill him about how you can have. How
I'm
do you
back.
get something from nothing in the Guth-Vilenkin model? You think something came from nothing in the Guth-Vilenkin model?
Is this the quantum tunneling one?
Yeah.
Where like the
Yeah,
universe
it's at zero. It's at like the zero state, and then it quantum tunnels to like the one state.
Yeah, I am not convinced by that model.
I see. Okay.
I'm not sure if it's technically a mathematically valid conclusion.
Okay.
Because the whole point is that it says that the probability distribution of the scale factor of the universe peaks at 0 when like time is equal to 0. But the issue is that probability distributions are only like well defined over an area, not a single slice.
I see. Yeah.
So you can say that it has a non-zero probability of having a scale factor from like 0 to 1, for example. You can define a range of scale factors, but to say that the most likely, scale factor of the universe is just from 0 to 0, that's an infinitely thin slice of the probability distribution function, and I'm not convinced by that.
Damn. So do you think Isaac Newton beats their ass?
Yeah.
Okay. Sure. Yeah. I see. Okay. Well, hey, thanks. Appreciate it. Yeah, there was a philosophy paper I was reading titled The Cosmic Bomb Hypothesis that's supposed to be like a parody of the Kalam that you can like parody the Kalam by holding that there's like some sort of state that's like timeless and then it just goes off and then gives rise. And the Guth-Vilenkin model was one of the ones that gets cited. Hey, how's it going?
Yeah, good. There's too many flaws in your ideological framework for it to
Well,
be sustainable.
wait, sorry, one sec. How old are you?
31.
Is
I'm
there
old enough
any
to realize
way?
there
Is
are
there
too
any
many
way that you
flaws
could
in
pull the
your
microphone away? I
Sir,
just don't want
sir.
to hear that. Whoa, please calm down.
Sorry, what was that?
Just
What was that?
if you could move the microphone away, I can like hear like the spit in your mouth, and it's like it's a wetter experience than I'd
Wow.
like it to be.
Yeah, you're trying to run away from my claim.
Okay,
good job.
and I need one more thing, which is what religion are you?
Christian Catholic.
Okay, sure. Yeah, what makes you think that God exists?
Yeah, so there's too many flaws in your ideological framework in order for it to be sustainable. And you're arrogant for even
Such
thinking
as?
that you can. Yeah, so let me tell you that you're arrogant for thinking you're dumb. Our
I'm
dumbasses
sure
can
that
even.
everyone who watches this right now, and honestly, at this rate in the future, is going to come away with the impression that between the two of us, I'm the arrogant one.
Wow. No, what I'm saying is this. We're both dumbasses and we're too dumb to think we can comprehend God. That's what I'm trying to tell you. So we're both two peas in the bucket.
Well, I half
I'm
agree
a
with
dumb
you.
I'm a dumbass, you're a dumbass, but you're
I
not
half agree
you're
with you.
wow. Okay, dude. Your ideological
Wait, can I
framework.
just know? This is all meta. Can I just get like, what's the substance? Like, what am I wrong about?
Yeah, so you have no explanation as to an opposing view that God is real. So there's no way you can substantiate that he's
What's
not
the
real.
fact of reality that you want me to explain?
Yeah, so you think we're in a fucking simulation like GTA? You're a
I don't
joke.
think I said that. I don't think that's what I
That-
believe.
It's implied from your.
I disagree. I don't think that it follows from the proposition that God isn't real, that therefore the simulation is true.
No, that's not true. You said more than that. I've heard you before, dude. I've watched
I've
you.
never said that the simulation is true. You're delusional.
You haven't
You've-
verbatim
you've-
said that word for word, but you've hinted at it and you've basically danced around
That's
it.
not my
But
belief. I don't believe
like,
that.
yeah, like-
simulation is false.
Okay, so yeah, good one, buddy. Like I was saying, so there's no evidence to support that he's not real. You know what I mean?
So
like
you have
there's
zero
more.
evidence that he does exist. I can give you
I
the
have
evidence he
tons of
doesn't.
Dude,
Wait, so
watch
what's
your
your
fucking
evidence
mouth.
that he?
Are you
Whoa,
serious
let's
right
just
now?
calm down there. No need for you to get upset. I'm sorry. Maybe the fact that I said that it doesn't seem like you're presenting evidence, maybe that
You're
like upset you. Maybe
Harris, I'm gonna
that
humble you.
you know. I'm sorry. You know, I can try to upset you a bit less next time, but you know,
Dude,
you should
you need
seriously
to be
calm
you
the
need to
fuck
be
down.
humbled. I will humble you and
Yeah,
and shut
give me
you
one
down.
piece of evidence. Give me your most humbling piece of evidence.
So my strongest argument would be fine tuning. The fact
Yeah.
that so many random possibilities just happen to align perfectly
Which
in order
ones?
for life. Sorry, what was that?
Yeah, which ones?
There's millions. We can talk about how the body functions or how the solar system operates or how the world works or how everything just happens to properly
Yeah, let's
be
talk
just-
about it. I mean, my kidneys produce rocks, and then you have to piss them out like shards of glass. So, do you think that's finely tuned kidney stones?
Yeah, it is because it still allows for life to continue. Do you expect
Wait, so do you think
perfection?
that's good?
You expect perfection. That's
Isn't
your
God
fucking
perfect?
problem.
Wait,
and this
why
goes
would a
back to the
perfect God
arrogance,
produce
dude.
an imperfect thing?
Dude, you're an arrogant dickhead, dude.
Oh
You're
no,
not
he's
going to
so
admit
mad. He has no critique.
You're not going to admit
His
that
critique
it's-
fell apart like that. It just dissolved. It was like cotton candy held underwater. Now all he can do is his like forced laugh. You know.
Come
Yeah,
address
really
my
very guttural, right? Like inhale.
ad hominem attack. Got it.
It
Yep,
is,
that's
yeah.
that's a low
It's
IQ
not even an
strategy.
ad hominem. It's actually just an insult, right?
Dude,
You know,
you're
an ad hominem is an insult in the place of an argument. That was just an insult. Your argument got dispatched.
Oh wow! Oh, okay. So you're going to double down on the arrogance. Got it. So, like I was saying, dude, there's
This guy's funny. You should come back
there's so
regularly.
there's so many factors that if they were slightly tweaked differently, that life would not be sustainable.
Like what?
You
Name
understand
one.
my argument? Okay, so if we were just a few inches closer to the sun or
Prove
further
that.
from the sun,
Yeah, go ahead and
we
prove
would
that.
even. Sorry, what was that?
Yeah, go ahead and prove that.
You want me to move the fucking Earth? Are you
No,
okay?
I want you to give me a study that says that.
Like,
So
are you
what you
okay?
said is false, actually. And if you want like a fun fact, we actually
Are
do
you
get
okay?
closer to and farther away
You
from the
need
sun over
Dr.
time.
Blitz, dude. You
Like
need Dr.
this
Blitz. You're
second,
embarrassing.
we're
You
actually
want me to
getting
move this
farther
fucking
from the sun. I don't know if you're aware of that. Are you having like a fucking asthma attack, dude? Like I have an inhaler for you.
you
If
hold on,
you
let me-
whoa, just take your inhaler. It's okay. It's okay. It's gonna be a better auditory experience for all of us. Just hit that shit and give it a big or something. You know, I think you're having like an asthma attack. I'm
Are you
I'm deeply
okay?
worried for your lung quality. Are you like a lifetime smoker? Telling us about fine tuning?
Just to be clear, you want me to move the Earth in order to
No, I didn't say
substantiate
that.
my claim.
No, I
In
didn't
order
say
to
that. That's not what I
substantiate
asked
my
for.
claim, in order to substantiate my
Didn't
claim,
ask.
you just asked me. You asked me
I
to
didn't
move
ask
the
that.
Earth.
Nope. I
Yes,
didn't
that
ask you
is,
for
yeah.
that.
Dude,
Do you want me
you're
to, I can
embarrassing.
replay the I can hit the replay. I didn't ask that. I said
So what did you?
prove it. I said give me a study. What's a study that would
You
claim
didn't
as
say. You
much?
didn't say. Give me a study.
I did.
Now
I
you're
did claim that. I
now
said
you're saying,
prove
dude, are
it,
you
and then you
okay?
said you want me to move the earth, and I said no. Give me a study. That
You
was the
had all-
interaction, you know. And
Yeah,
I
you-
grant,
you-
right? Like I've slammed you so hard that you have a concussion, which is why you don't remember
Dude, this
3
guy
minutes
has
ago.
Alzheimer's. This is embarrassing. He
Let's
has
just watch the
Alzheimer's.
replay then. If I'm the one
No,
with
you ne-
Alzheimer's,
you-
then let's watch the replay.
You never said give me a study.
Yeah,
buddy.
wait,
Are
let's
you
watch
okay?
the replay. Let's see whether or not I say, you know, you can give me a study.
Dude, I feel bad like cooking you. I feel bad, honestly. You need Dr.
You're gonna
Blitz
feel
and
you're gonna
Sam.
feel even worse in just a second.
I feel
That's
bad.
that
You
was the
have Alzheimer's.
interaction. Study.
Are you
Whoa,
serious
let's
right
just
now?
calm down there. No need for you to get upset. I'm sorry. Maybe the fact that I said that it doesn't seem like you're presenting evidence, maybe that
You're
like
embarrassed.
upset
This is
you. Maybe
embarrassing. I'm gonna
that
humble you.
you know, I'm sorry. You know, I can try to upset you a bit less next time. But you know,
Dude,
you should
you need
just
to be
calm down.
humbled. I will humble you and
Yeah,
shut
give me
you
one
down.
piece of evidence. Give me your most humbling piece of evidence. Okay, wait. Get ready. In position.
So my strongest argument would be fine tuning. The fact
Yeah.
that so many random possibilities just happen to align perfectly.
Which
in order
ones?
for life. Sorry, what was that?
Yeah, which ones?
There's millions. We can talk about how the body functions, or how the solar system operates, or how the world works, or how everything just happens to properly
Yeah, let's
be
talk
just.
about it. I mean, my kidneys produce rocks, and then you have to piss them out like shards of glass. So, do you think that's finely tuned? Kidney stones?
Yeah, it is, because it still allows for life to continue. Do you expect
Wait, so do you think that's
perfection?
good?
You expect perfection. That's
Isn't
your
God
fucking
perfect?
problem.
Wait,
and this
why
goes
would a
back to the
perfect God
arrogance,
produce
dude.
an imperfect thing?
Dude, you're an arrogant dickhead, dude.
Oh
You're
no,
not
he's
going to
so
admit.
mad. He has no critique.
You're not going to admit
His
that
critique
it's,
fell apart like that. It just dissolved. It was like cotton candy held underwater. Now all he can do is his like forced laugh. You know.
Dude, come
Yeah,
address
really,
my
very
I think
guttural.
we're like 30
right?
seconds
Like,
away
from it. Inhale.
ad hominem attack. Got it.
It
Yep,
is,
that's
yeah.
it. That's it. Low
It's
IQ
not even an
strategy.
ad hominem. It's actually just an insult, right?
Dude,
You know,
you're
an ad hominem is an insult in the place of an argument. That was just an insult. Your argument got dispatched.
Oh wow! Oh, okay. So you're gonna double down on the arrogance. Got it. So like I was saying, dude, there's
That's funny. You should come back
there's so
regularly.
many. No, there's so many factors that if they were slightly tweaked differently, that life would not be sustainable.
Like what?
You
Name
understand my
one.
argument? Okay, so if we were just a few inches closer to the sun or
Prove
further
that.
from the sun,
Yeah, go ahead and
we
prove
would either.
that.
Sorry, what was that?
Yeah, go ahead and prove that.
You want me to move the fucking Earth? Are you
No,
okay?
I want you to give me a study that says that.
Like-
So, yeah, there it is. Give me a study that says that. It's exactly
Dude,
what I said
okay,
it was.
Yeah, I was talking
Sure.
while you said
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
so I
Wait.
didn't
So
hear
then,
you,
oh,
obviously.
sure.
Dude,
Do you
come on, now
concede
you're
that you were
embarrassed.
mistaken
This is
about that? Wait,
embarrassing.
wait. So were you wrong? You were wrong. Just go ahead and say it. Just go ahead and say I was wrong. Just go ahead and say that. Yeah, let's get one. Get one, Wheezy. Can we get the?
Give
Can
me
we,
a sec.
can we
I
get
need
like
to
a
catch my
Wheezy
breath.
concession from you now that
I
you
need
just
to
got
catch
proven
my breath.
wrong?
This is I feel bad
Yeah,
for you.
yeah.
dude.
Just go
This
ahead
is
and
terrible.
catch your breath. You know, we all
Dr.
get like
Blitz,
quite
please.
embarrassed. You know, when we were wrong, but you just got demonstrated to be wrong. You just agreed with
Dr.
it.
Blitz, Dr.
So,
Blitz,
okay,
man
cool.
down. Dr. Blitz, you need backup.
Dr.
dude. Phone a
Blitz,
friend.
Dr. Blitz, man down. You just fucking shot this guy in the head. Now he's like wheezing out, dude. He's like fucking suffocating.
This is a-
You know, the blood has gone from his brain hole and is flooding down into his lungs, which is why he's wheezing so much, Dr. Blitz. We need you. You're a medical doctor, Dr. Blitz. Help us.
Wow.
What should we do, Dr. Blitz? I just kicked the fucking air out of this guy, and now all he can say is,
You know how this is embarrassing. You need help, just like the Avengers couldn't take down Thanos. They literally had to gang up 50 versus
dude,
1.
you're like
That's
the
what's happening.
squirrel
You're getting your
girl
ass beat
of
so
my
badly.
of
dude.
my cinematic universe, right? You're like the fucking calendar man.
You wanted me to substantiate my
you-
argument. No, you wanted me
Yeah,
to
that's why
substantiate
I'm
my
killed.
argument
Yeah.
by moving the Earth. You didn't say any. I didn't hear
I
you
didn't
say
ask
bring
for
this to-
that. I
You
asked
wanted me
for
to-
give me a study. What's the study that says that if we moved an inch closer that we wouldn't live?
Oh, that's been proven before you were even. Oh, dude, that's been.
Oh,
been,
so it is
been-
proven. Wait, so it is proven.
Of course, yeah.
Oh, sure.
absolutely.
And who proved it?
Who proved it?
Yeah, who proved it?
Oh man. So look at
A
the
lot
other
of
planets.
people. Yeah. Wait, who
No,
proved
no.
it?
Look at
Wait, so
look at
I'm
all
actually. So here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna type down
Yeah,
the
yeah.
question to make sure that we
Yep.
go in a good linear fashion. You know, to make sure that we're a bunch of linear Larrys as opposed to like exponential Eeyores.
Yeah,
I know.
absolutely. Good idea.
Who
Good idea.
proved that if we moved an inch closer or an inch farther away from the sun, that life wouldn't exist?
Yeah. So this is going to be broken down into two.
Yeah,
two,
just the name. Just the name.
Yeah. So if we were an inch closer,
If
we
we
would
were.
burn. If we were an inch further away, we would freeze. Is my point.
Yeah, but who you said it was proved? Who proved
Dude,
it?
you didn't hear my claim because
You
you're just
said
too.
it was
You're jumping out of
proved.
your
Who
seat. You're foaming at
proved
the
it?
mouth like a fucking dog.
Oh
with
no, he
rabies.
needs to run from the claim because he knows it's a blunder. He knows that he's going to get fucking decimated on this. Now all he can
You're
do is wheeze
embarrassing.
into his microphone, and that's the typical experience: getting kneed in the fucking diaphragm. You know, you are breathless.
You're embarrassing yourself, dude. This is crazy.
I'll ask the
Okay.
question again that you didn't answer.
Yeah, I'll give the
you
answer
made the
again,
claim
buddy.
that it was proven that if the Earth was moved an inch further away or closer to, that life would not be possible. The question was
Yep.
who proved it? Go
Exactly.
ahead.
That's my claim. Yes, that's my claim.
Yep, who proved it? Go ahead.
Now I'm gonna get to that on my second sentence. My first sentence is if we were an inch closer, we would burn. If we were an inch further, we would freeze. It's obvious. Now that those both have been proven. Both of those have been proven by the same person. Proved that.
And the second sentence?
If we were an inch closer, we would burn.
That's
and
the
if we were
first
an inch
sentence.
if we were an inch further away, we would freeze. Yes, that's absolutely because it'd be too cold. Those are my claims.
Yeah,
I
and what's
stand-
the second sentence where you give the name of the person who proved it?
Dude, you're not listening. I've said it. Dude, slow down. Your heart's pounding out your chest. You need to go
You
to the
just
doctor
didn't say a
because your
name
blood
right.
pressure's through the roof right now.
Do you think my audience is a bunch of people with like fucking Alzheimer's? Do you
That's
think
why,
that
dude.
I'm hosting a bunch of like concussion victims here? Everyone's just gonna be able to listen and recall, 2 seconds ago when you didn't give a name. You said
Dude,
that it's
I
been
have-
proven. Who proved
I have
it?
the
Give
name.
the name.
It's in my search history along with all the clips of you getting
Yeah,
cooked,
go for
like
it.
on Jubilee.
Yeah, take
Now,
a
like I was
second to go find it. Go find the name.
Now, that's the reason why you have this board up blocking your face
Do you
because you're
wanna-
red.
do
You're
you wanna
red.
go ahead
You're,
and,
you're afraid. You're red
whoa.
in the face right now. That's
If I'm red, it's because of how embarrassed I am for you, frankly. This is like secondhand embarrassing. I'm like cringing, honestly.
give me 10 seconds. Give me 10.
That's what I say to my girlfriend, give me 6 seconds. Give me 6 seconds. Wow, maybe if I just like blatantly fucking unapologetically just lie. Maybe if I just say lies,
Okay, I got the source
Yeah,
right
yeah,
here.
go for it.
So if anybody on here goes to Google right now, and this is provably a provable claim because anybody on their phone can do this because they have, their phone in their
It's
hand.
provably a provable
If we
claim.
were an inch closer to the sun, we would radiate too
Yeah,
high.
but
we would
who's the
burn.
person who proved it? What's the name?
Uh,
That was the thing. Maybe the Alzheimer's haver is this guy. Maybe that's why he can't remember the thing that he was trying to prove. That's too bad.
Dude, when I swipe out, I can still hear you talking shit.
No,
Now, that
I
makes
know,
me,
I know,
can't
I
focus
know.
on getting the evidence if you were talking shit while I'm swiped out the fucking
Okay,
app, dude.
okay,
Jesus
that's
Christ.
fine.
Now
We
let me-
can sit here. We can sit here learning about I don't know, chat. What in philosophy do you want to learn about? We can start reading. We can read a random page of a book. Any suggestions? Any field of philosophy that you guys want to hear about?
Okay, I got it. I got it.
Okay,
right here. I
okay.
got it
Never
right
mind.
here.
Fuck you, chat. You're not getting it.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, I got it. So it's called the BBC Science. It's called BBC Science Focus Magazine. They did a whole article. breaking it
Science
down.
Focus magazine. What's the article?
How much closer to the sun could the Earth's orbit be? And then it breaks it down.
How
basically.
much closer to the sun could the Earth's orbit be? To quote Dr. Blitz, this is not going to go well. Oh no,
Dude,
dude!
that
Oh
that guy
no, this is brutal.
That guy
This
is a joke too.
Oh
You guys
shit,
just use
dude!
different ways.
This is
of
gonna
proving
be
it.
this is gonna be like the cookage, right? This wasn't just a blunder. This was like the 1.5 million blunder. Okay, check it.
Yep, that's it right there. Go ahead and
It is
zoom in.
difficult to be precise about the size of the sun's habitable zone because it depends on many complicated factors, including solar irradiance, atmospheric composition, cloud and weather patterns, the reflectivity or albedo of the Earth's surface, and so on. But the latest research actually suggests that the inner edge of the solar system's habitable zone is between 0.95 and 0.99 astronomical units. That means the Earth would become uninhabitable if its average distance from the sun was reduced by as little as 1.5 million kilometers, which is only about 4 times the distance of the moon.
Dude, you got to calm
So-
down. You're talking way too fast.
Yeah,
You're
I
embarrassing
know.
yourself. You
It's
sound nervous.
because
You
I wanted
sound
to,
nervous.
to deliver the
He's nervous. Look,
devastating
everybody.
blow. So, okay, let's get clear. Let's get clear what you believe.
Yep.
You believe that 1.5 million kilometers is an inch closer to the sun. You think that 1.5 million kilometers is an inch? Is that correct?
So this is the part where you try to make me look illogical and dumb.
You did that to
When did
yourself.
I say that? Come on, dude. You're a joke.
Yeah,
you're,
you
you're not.
cited
You're not
this
a.
as the
You're
source
disingenuous.
that
You're disingenuous. You're
if we
disingenuous.
moved an inch closer or an inch farther away from the sun, that life wouldn't exist. The number that's cited here is 1.5 million. So are you going to say that 1.5 million kilometers is an inch?
Now you're trying to put me in a corner.
Is
I'm
that
not
correct?
dumb. Dude, I'm hyper aware. I know what you're trying
Yeah,
to do.
could
You're
you be hyper aware and then affirm that indeed 1.5 million kilometers is an inch, which is
Wow,
the thing
dude.
that you were asked to give a source for?
You want me to either fold or concede. You want me to either concede.
I just want you to be consistent with the thing
you
that
want
you're
me.
saying.
You want me to concede or look dumb and
If you
double
want to
down?
concede, that's up to you, right?
You
But I
want
just want
me
you
to-
to affirm. I want you shat all over your plate. Now it's time for dinner. Eat up.
Wow.
Go
So
ahead
what
and
you-
affirm it.
You want me to either double
You said
down and
that
look,
it was
you want me
an
to
inch
double down?
closer to or an inch farther away. But the source that you cited me, it's 1.5 million kilometers. Is 1.5 million kilometers an inch?
You want me to double down and look dumb or fold and concede and look like a pussy? That's
That
what you
is the
want me to do.
dilemma in front of you. Yes.
At this point, I'm not, dude. You knew what I meant. I'll concede barely, just a little bit.
Yeah, you'll concede
meant
1.5 million kilometers. You were only off by by 4 distances of the moon. You were off.
But my argument that
How
doesn't
about you
still,
wheeze again? Give us another wheeze.
dude. That doesn't disprove my argument. Just because my estimate was slightly off does not mean my conclusion was wrong.
Here's what happened to your conclusion just now.
Yeah.
Oh!
More ad hominem, I love it, dude. I
No,
love it.
no,
That means
it's
so
just an
wait,
insult.
Ian. Just to be clear, just because my estimate was slightly off, does that mean my argument is wrong about
I
fine
think
tuning?
that if you're going to call that slightly off, then you should probably go work for like the Muslims translating the Quran verses, translating the verse about like beating your wife to like, you nudged her.
Wow,
You
dude.
should go the type of spins that you're doing, like.
No, at this point, you're being an asshole because I already said I concede a little
Okay,
bit. I
that's
already
fine,
said
that's
I'm willing
fine.
to concede
So,
a little bit.
sure,
So now you
so
want to just completely
Do you think
stomp
that's
me in the ground,
fine-tuned?
dude.
Do you think it's fine-tuned that if we were like millions of kilometers closer to the sun, that life wouldn't be possible?
Yes, it is fine tuned because we wouldn't be
How's
here
that
if that would.
fine-tuned?
Yeah, dude, it's you. Are you looking for like a specific? How narrow is your qualification?
I just want to know, how is that fine-tuned?
Because yeah, so if it still allows for life to continue, then it's fine tuned. Because if we were too close, we would burn. If we
No,
were
I
too
get
far away,
that.
we'd freeze.
I get that, but it's like we could be way closer or way farther away.
Yeah, but we're still
Also,
within.
Oh,
we're
that's
still
kind of a
within the
blunder on
window.
your part. This is kind of sad. Actually, my understanding of what would happen is that
Yep.
liquid water wouldn't exist. That's the thing that would happen, is that there just wouldn't
Yep,
be
that
liquid
too.
water. No,
That
no,
too.
my understanding is that that's like the thing, right? It's not like burning and freezing. It's like liquid water.
All of that would happen. For one, first, if liquid water would be the first thing.
Yeah,
but
here I am helping you out with your own argument.
dude, no, because you're being disingenuous, dude. You were getting cooked, and I made one small mistake, and then you celebrate and pop champagne like you won the fucking FIFA
Yeah, I
World
did.
Cup. You
I
act like
did.
you won the Super Bowl FIFA World Cup
Yeah, I was
championship.
there. I was there
NBA.
right next to Trump. We were like, and the FIFA guy was like, no, move on.
Dude, you couldn't even get within 5 miles of Trump, dude. You're nowhere near his level. Now, like I was saying,
I was
but-
driving through Baltimore once, and the presidential limo for the Army versus Navy game drove past me.
dude, dude, Trump would laugh at you if he if he knew how inconsistent.
Judge me by my enemies.
like I was saying, dude, it would just be yeah. So like I was saying, dude, I did make a small concession though. I was willing to concede that small point.
Yeah,
But my
a small concession of 1.5 million kilometers.
no, dude, this fine tuning still works. You still weren't able to disprove my argument.
Yeah,
with fine-tuning.
that's not fine tuned. That's like, you know,
And,
quite
like-
that's quite a good bit of stretch to it, right?
Another way of proving the same exact argument
Yeah,
is
I'd
there's
pick the
just
way
enough.
too. Yeah,
There's
go for it.
just enough food on this earth. There's not too many people. Not too many.
6 million people starve to death each year.
Well, that's just simply not true. I don't know if you want to go ahead and cite that source. That's a false claim, obviously. You just blatantly lied in front of
How many
everybody.
people
The same thing I just
starve
did, you just committed. So now we're both going to be sitting
to
here looking like
death?
dumbasses. You should have stopped while you were ahead, dude. You're done.
Brutal. It's I was wrong. It's actually more than that. It's 9 million people each year. Yeah, I'd be wheezing like that too if I got beat the fuck down as hard as this. It's like that one scene from The Joker when they're like beating the fuck out of him and all he can do is have like a laughing attack. Like that's what's actually happening right here. So it's 9 million people starve to death each year. Hope that helps.
So we were both wrong with our estimates. So I'm willing to go down.
Yeah,
on that.
yeah.
We
I was
can-
wrong
yeah, so
about
we're
it.
equal,
It was
buddy,
actually
so-
it was actually
You
50%
should've
higher
stopped
than
while you were
that.
ahead, but
Right, it was actually way worse than I said it was, you know. So now that we agree that the world is not fine-tuned in terms of the amount of food, what's your next piece of evidence?
Yeah, so if we're not overpopulated to where there's, or we're not at the point where there's too many men or too many women, you see how it just balances out. Like we're not overpopulated.
It's because there's a
there's
50,
enough land.
50 chance for a man and a woman
Yep.
each time.
Exactly.
So, but in terms of, I mean,
Yep.
you know, we are starving to death, right? 9 million people starve to death each year.
That's that's a bit of an ethic moral argument because you can make, but that's a little bit off topic though.
It's
not
actually
good.
on topic, right? It's not finely tuned. If 9 million people starve to death, it's not finely tuned.
Wow, I knew you were going to go down this rabbit hole. That was cute, dude. Okay, man. All right, yeah,
You,
good job.
You
Do
brought
wanna-
it up, by the way, just in case
you
you,
wanna-
forgot
you
that.
wanna
You
cook
said
it?
that
You
we
like-
have the
you
right
like
amount of food,
snickerdoodle
and then I
or
was like, no, we
chocolate
don't. 6 million people starve to death each year. And then you were like, and then I pulled it up and it was 9 million. And you were like, so you concede. And I was like, yeah,
Yeah.
I concede that the problem's actually worse for you.
Wow. So like snickerdoodle or chocolate chip? You want a cookie? Just to be clear, do you want a cookie? You want a pat on the back? Because
Yeah.
you got one. Dude, the point is that this still the
Every
point is
Ian
that-
chat member is now entitled to a pat on the back. You know, every
Yeah, you
chatter,
want a pat on-
take your pat on the back.
You want to pat? You want
Courtesy
a you
of
want a
this
pat on the
guy.
back? You want an Oreo or Chips Ahoy or which one do you like personally? Now let's go
I'm,
ahead.
I'm
And
an
move on.
Oreo fan. You know, I'm vegan.
The point is that still, even with the 9 million people, that's sad that happens, but it's not like everybody passes away. You know, there's enough that life is still sustainable. There's enough water here. There's enough
Yeah,
animals.
it's
there's
only
enough
9
beef,
million
chicken.
people.
Dude, stop. I'm not making a moral
It's only,
claim. You're
it's
trying.
only, what is it, like fucking 18 times the population of Wyoming? Like,
Now you're trying to make me look like a bad guy. I'm not making a moral claim.
you did
I'm
this
not
to
an ass.
yourself.
I'm not a piece of shit. I'm
You
not an
did this to
asshole. I'm not
yourself.
saying that 9 million is not a big amount. That's 9 million too many. But it's not everybody. There's still enough people
I
that
agree,
survive
it's
to
not
make life
everyone.
sustainable.
How many people would need to be starving to death for you to think it's not finely tuned?
Enough to where it's outweighs the amount of people, born and alive. You know what I mean? Because then we wouldn't be able to survive as a species. So it's, dude, I'm not making a moral claim. Now you're trying to turn this into a moral.
So
a
you're
moral-
telling me that
Dude, here he goes. Go ahead.
131
Yeah.
million people could die of
Oh my
starvation
God.
each year, and you would think that it's still finely tuned? 131 million people.
Dude, I'm not making a moral argument. I'm not making a moral
I just want to
claim.
know, you did say that. Can I just get confirmation that 131 million people could die each year?
This
and-
is
and you
fucking.
would-
This
you
is
would think that
insane,
it's
dude.
finely tuned.
This is insane, dude. I'm not making a moral claim. That's sad, obviously. We
You
can all
claimed
agree.
that. That was your claim.
I still do think it's. Oh my goodness, dude. You're making this harder than it needs to be, dude. This is ridiculous. I know I'm not saying that's okay, but I'm saying technically, yes, that would still be finely tuned. I'm remaining consistent. I'm remaining consistent.
yeah.
Even when I look like the bad guy, I'm still gonna remain consistent. Because
Yeah,
yes,
like
that would
the-
still be finely tuned.
You could be debating a Nazi about ethics, and they could say, "Yeah, actually, I would. You know, if I found out I was Jewish, I would think that I deserve death."
Dude,
and it's
you're-
like, you know, that's consistent, but it's like obviously like fucking false, right? Like
Dude,
just
I'm
because you're
making- I'm-
consistent doesn't help you, right? Like consistently biting bullets is just embarrassing.
I'm not making a fucking moral claim. That's
No,
what I'm
I
trying to
know.
tell you. Okay,
You're
so
making a
if your
fine-tuning
body,
claim. You're making a
dude,
functionality claim.
so if
You're
your
saying it's
body
finely
needs,
tuned for life, but tons of people starve.
if your body needs 2,000 calories a day to survive, but you're only able to get like 1,900, you're still going to make it to the next day. It's just 2,000 is like you know what I mean. You get what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Like it's not a beautiful thing, but still, it
yeah,
still allows for life to continue. That's what I'm saying. So even if all those people unfortunately were starving to death, life would still be sustainable.
yeah.
Therefore, it's finely tuned.
The fact that 9 million people die is almost kind of like a diet, even.
Dude, stop trying to fucking make this moral argument where you're painting me out to be this monster, this
You did
bad
this to
guy, or
yourself. You
I'm this
absolutely did
horrible
this to
person
yourself.
just because I'm being consistent with my
You
views. That's what I'm saying.
absolutely you showed up with the fucking like caricature drawing of yourself as like Darth Vader from Disneyland, right? Like you made yourself the villain. You did this to yourself.
You've embarrassed yourself on the technical aspect. Now you're trying to make a moral argument.
What's
a
one thing that I
moral-
embarrassed myself on?
Yeah, so you estimated wrongly that 6
Yeah,
million
I was
people passed away.
wrong. It's
Oh, go
actually
ahead and
worse
cut me
for
off.
you. It's actually way worse for you. Apparently, it's 3 million starvation deaths a year worse for you.
But
Yeah,
that's not what
you're
I'm,
right. Your
no,
position is even less tenable than I said.
No, Ian, I'm not. That's not what I'm extracting from my point. What I'm extracting from that is you were still off with your estimate. I'm not
Yeah,
saying that whether it
I grant
favored.
that it
I'm
is
not
worse for
saying.
you.
I'm not saying whether it favored my argument or your argument. I'm just saying
Yeah.
that you were still off. So
Yeah,
that's what I'm
totally
saying.
grant that. I think what I was thinking, I think it's 6 million children die each year. I think that's the stat.
I'm not going into that. That's too serious of it. That's too sensitive. I'm not going into that because now
Yeah.
you're going to really try to make a moral claim, make me look bad. I'm just going to go ahead and move to the next topic. We have enough animals and enough vegetables and enough water to sustain. You know what I mean? Like if we had just few chickens or not enough cows or not enough water or not enough crops and vegetables or not enough farmers or not enough, we wouldn't be able to sustain life. So
Yeah, so there's like a good explanation about the population size that comes from what is it? It's dynamical systems, or not dynamical system, differential equations. That's what it is. I knew it had like a D name. Differential equations. Populations expand towards the size that the environment can sustain, and then they stop expanding. So Earth has a carrying capacity in terms of the amount of humans. It deals with, how much food is available and how much space is available, these sorts of considerations. But then, the population is just going to tend towards that. If you go over that, well, there just isn't enough food for people, as we're seeing.
Yep.
And if you go under that, then you're just going to keep on expanding until you're at that point.
Yeah, but we're nowhere near that point. Is my point that I'm trying. We're nowhere near
I think we're kind of close to it. I think we're in the same order of magnitude.
I think you're kind of bullshit right now.
So, what is the carrying capacity of the Earth?
Yeah, it's like when you get on the elevator and it's a certain amount of weight, or when you're on a bridge, like in a car, there's a certain amount of weight.
It seems to be 12 billion. So yeah, I think we're like right up. We're coming right up on it.
That doesn't sound confident enough for me to take and move to the next part. What do you mean we're coming up on it? Are you saying it's going to happen next year, or like in 100 years, or 1,000 years, or what are you saying?
We could do like the estimation if you want.
Because I just don't think we're going to hit that.
Also, by the way, if you want like a real source for this, sciencealert.com is the source.
Yeah,
the article name is Earth's population has surpassed the planet's capacity, study suggests. But then it talks about studies that the absolute capacity is 12 billion, that there's capacities that you can estimate based on like the amount that gets consumed, but then there's like this absolute that would hold even regardless of consumption level.
Yeah,
and that's
exactly.
12 billion.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I believe that, and that still is not an imminent threat. That's not a problem we would have to worry about. So
I'm not
therefore,
saying that it's an imminent threat. I'm saying that there's a naturalistic explanation.
No, and I understand. I'm glad you mentioned it, but my response to that is that doesn't disprove my argument of fine tuning. You know what I mean? We're still within our lifetime. We are still.
What's the finely tuned thing?
Just the right amount of land, just the right amount of food, crops, animals, just for the
number of people are growing. And in fact, like we're under, right? And also, I mean, why did God make it such that we need to eat food in the first place? Why would that be a relevant limiting factor?
I don't see a problem with eating food. Your argument
Like,
hinges on
would you
hinges.
rather not eat food ever again, but you like photosynthesize, and in doing so, you stop like millions of people dying each year, or do you think
No,
food is more valuable than like the millions of people that starve to death each year?
your
If
argument
you had to choose.
your argument fails to lift off the ground. It fails to even get started because you're implying that eating food is a bad thing. I don't see
I just
what
want to
the
know, like,
problem
if you
is.
had to choose,
Your
right?
argument's already failed before it's even gotten a
Oh,
chance.
oh, my
Like,
bad. It already
it's like
failed, right? Oh, that's my mistake, dude. It already
it's like
failed,
in a
right?
like
You know,
like in a
rich
like in a
poor. Rich poor 84 has decreed that it's failed. So I guess the argument's over. Yeah, my
yeah.
bad. My bad,
No,
G.
it's like an aborted baby. It
Yeah,
doesn't even get a chance. Like you believe in.
it
You believe
is.
in abortion. So go
I
ahead. You
do. I
want to
do.
make a moral
Yeah.
claim. You
I'm a
want to
big
make me look like
abortionist.
you want to make me look like an asshole, but
Yo, you think that
believe in
one's gonna go
abortion.
well for you?
No, we
Yo,
don't
I
need to
saw the
move that.
funniest fucking video on Reddit the other day. This one actually might even be worth sharing. What is it? It's
Oh, so you don't even know what you're talking about, guys. You just damaged your own
I'm pulling
credibility
it
right
up.
there.
I'm pulling the video up. It's a great ass video. This video is like
That was
incredible.
embarrassing. Oh yeah, I just seen something. The Alzheimer's kicked in. That was embarrassing, dude. Do better. Come on now.
I'm literally
Alzheimer's kicking
scrolling,
in.
looking for it as we
Are
speak.
you okay? Are you okay?
Are you? Are you having like a fucking moment? Are you good? Do you need the keys? Are you impatient?
guy-
I can give you the keys if you want.
And to the 600 people watching, this
You
is
want the keys? Oh, this is what
this
it
is the
takes?
guy you guys look up to and watch.
Oh yeah, okay, wait, I found it. I
This
found
is the
it.
guy-
This shit is so funny, dude.
Are you okay? This is the guy 500, 600 people watch. This
Yo,
is the
check
guy
this
you
out. Check
guys.
this out. Why do pro-abortion people act like this at 8:30 in the morning? But then it's like the funniest video. It's like the single funniest video I've ever seen. It's such a good video. Yo, check this shit out. Oh wait, sorry. It's it has volume.
Hello, ma'am. Do you know what happens at this?
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. I fuck.
Hello, ma'am. Do you know what happens at this place?
Shut the fuck up. Thank you guys. Thank you guys.
God bless you, ma'am.
She's so base, dude. Oh my god. Let's watch it one more time. This shit is so funny.
Hello, ma'am. Do you know what happens at this place?
Shut the fuck up. Thank you guys. Thank you guys.
God bless you, ma'am.
Incredible. Oh my god, it's so good.
Yeah, so that woman is demonic and possessed, and
It's
she's
so
been brainwashed.
good.
No, I feel bad for her. She's
She's
been
so
brainwashed.
based.
Yeah, no, I feel bad for her.
She's
anyway.
hydrated. She's in her lane.
Yeah, I just feel bad. She's
God.
misled. She's misled just like you are. So she's
You don't
actually
want to
the
get
same as
cooked on that one too, bud.
you. She's misled just like you.
You don't.
But like
I promise you don't have the boots for that hike.
dude, I do this for a living. You've embarrassed yourself 3 times
do
already.
this
Don't
for a
make it
living?
four.
You
Yes,
debate
this is
for a
my job.
living?
I quit my job. This is my
Oh
full-time
geez,
job. I
you
do
should
this
see
for a
if you
living.
can't get the job back. I don't think you have a future in this.
You've embarrassed yourself 3 times. Don't make it 4.
What topic are you strongest on? Please tell me it's not the God topic.
Well, I'm decent on the God topic. I'm good on politics. I'm good on just anything in life, that somebody has a ridiculous, easily disprovable worldview on. I'm able to debunk. I do it on
yeah.
Race, religion, politics, God,
So I got a
food,
quick
diet,
question.
nutrition,
I got
even
a-
sports.
I
But
got a-
sports is not objective, so that's just kind of for fun.
I got a quick question for you. Let's say that there's like an IVF clinic burning to the ground, and then on one side, on your left side, there's this like tray of embryos. There's 2 of them to be precise, and then on the other one, it's like a crying, screaming human child. Now because you work there that these embryos are going to get implanted. You know that they're going to be birthed. Which one are you saving?
You said on my left, there's a tray.
On the
of
left, there's a tray of 2 embryos, frozen embryos. They're going to be implanted. They're going to get birthed. On the right, human child. Which one are you saving?
How many embryos were there?
2.
And there's 1 human child.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, that's tough. That's like asking.
It for sure shouldn't be, right?
It for sure is. There's an argument on both sides. That's why it's a question to be. You wouldn't be
Yeah.
asking me a question to feel
That's why your
straightforward.
position is psychotic.
Calm the fuck down, dude. That's like asking me if I have a cow right here, but then I
Meanwhile,
have
the
a
kid's like,
hamburger.
save me, save me, save me. And then the embryos are like,
No, because what you're asking me is equivalent to if I have fruit, 2 apples to my right, but then I have a plant to my left. You get what I'm saying? Like it's a
No.
tough argument to make.
no,
'cause
it's like if you have You're trying to figure out what to have for lunch. On the right you have like a fucking apple, and then on the left you have like 2 seeds.
Yeah, that's equivalent, but it wouldn't be to have for lunch. No. That is
Tasty
actually.
seeds, tasty
No,
seeds.
No. It's not to have for lunch. It's to think about the future, dude. Like your analogy was good, but then you sort of extracted the wrong part from it. So I would choose the 2 seeds. I might actually. No. Hold on a second. Hold on, dude, because you're trying to do this gotcha moment. You're trying to do this cheap gotcha moment. I know what you do. I do this for a living. I see this coming from a mile away. You want a gotcha moment. And you know what my answer is going to be, but you're trying to make me look ridiculous. You know what it is. I actually almost don't even want to say it because you're just going to use it for a gotcha moment.
Yeah,
but
go
of
for
course,
it.
it's going to be the embryos. You know we're taking the embryos. Obviously, it's going to be the embryos, and that's why I didn't want
That's
to
not
say it.
true.
'Cause
You don't believe that. You wouldn't do that.
you want a gotcha moment. That's
You
all
wouldn't do
want.
that. You're lying.
want a
You're
fucking
lying. You wouldn't
gotcha
do that. I don't believe you. I believe that you're better than that even. I don't think that you would do that.
You want a gotcha moment so bad, dude. And I'm like I said, I'm consistent with my view, even when I look
Yeah.
ridiculous. So
Yeah,
yes, we're
yeah.
taking the embryos because it's
Okay,
2
okay.
lives. It's 2 lives versus 1. So obviously, you're going
okay.
to say, would you rather save
Yeah.
2 million people or 1
Yeah,
million?
you're
people? Are
fucking
you
psychotic,
crazy?
right? Like
Are
you're
you okay?
like you're genuinely unwell if you would do
Are
that.
you okay? Okay, let me
That's
ask
like
you this.
that's like literally insane that you would like let the human child, like the crying, screaming 4-year-old, like burn alive. That's like kind of insane.
Hold on a second. So, would you rather save 1 million people or 2 million people? Are you okay? You know the answer is going to be 2 million. Dude, be genuine.
Yep, I'd save 2 million people. all
Okay,
else
that's what I
equal.
said. Case closed, shut. Argument open, shut. Case closed. You know what I mean? So
the notable thing is that there's a disanalogy.
no, there's no difference. It's the exact same thing, literally.
Oh
what you just asked me.
no! I mean, I don't think the embryos are substantially morally valuable.
Oh, they are obviously.
Okay.
That's sick. That's
Okay.
sick for you to even imply otherwise. Yeah, they are.
Okay, I'll do more than imply otherwise. I'll just state it directly. I don't think that the embryos are particularly morally valuable. I don't think that they have 0 value. I don't think that they're very valuable.
So you've already demonstrated that they are because in your analogy, you made it clear that they're going to be birthed. You made it clear. So they're basically 2 babies at that point, given your analogy. 'Cause you've already presupposed that they're going to be birthed.
Yeah, and this sperm that I'm gonna go fucking jerk off into the toilet. Yeah, it's basically already fucking
No,
a
'cause-
trillion babies.
So the analogy you gave said that they're going to be birthed. They're guaranteed, dude.
Yeah.
So why are you trying to extract that part away from it and then
Yeah,
continue
if
to
you
argue?
knew that every single sperm cell in the cum shot that you were about to release was gonna get
Dude,
fucking
it was
IVF
see,
selected,
now you're
do you
changing
think
the
that it would
question.
make it wrong to finish?
You're changing the question after I answered it because you claimed that they would.
That's about the
You
principle.
claimed that they were going to be birthed. Now you're saying that they won't be birthed. What are you talking about, dude?
No, I'm saying that the hypothetical is that they do get birthed.
exactly. So that's different than what you're saying now because you're just talking
That's
about.
exactly the same as what I'm saying now.
No, it's way different. No, because
Okay.
just sperm on itself is
Okay.
not going to be birthed. Obviously, dude. That doesn't make any
Oh,
sense.
sorry.
man. Come
Wait,
on
is
now.
it what about if it gets there's a guarantee that it's gonna produce an embryo?
Then that's different. Yeah, that's different. See, that's different. It makes
Would
a
you?
huge difference.
Oh my god.
If
You're,
you change,
so there you are at the IVF clinic. It's burning to the ground. You're about to finish, but then there's like fire going. You zip your pants up and wash your hands, obviously, because you're not a freak. Now you can either go back and fucking finish your load, which will then get turned into like a trillion babies. Or you can like save the crying, screaming human child. Which one are you doing?
Now you're adjusting it to make me look ridiculous. Now
I
you're
just
trying
want
to
to know,
change
like,
it
which
because you
one of
got
those
cooked.
would you say?
Now you're
the
trying
only
to
thing that
change
got cooked was the child that you wouldn't save.
Wow, dude. Wow. Now you're trying to change it to make it more ridiculous because I dog walked you on the initial question. It was a good question, but now you're making it this like hypothetical.
You bit the bullet. It
exaggeration.
went off in your mouth. You blew your own brains out. It was quite devastating, honestly. Haven't seen a debate performance like this since
That's why you had to read.
I guess the beginning of the stream with the one guy. Who do you?
You had to-
Chat. Who
that
do you
one
think is a
guy,
better
yeah,
debater,
so
Carl
that's the
or
Alzheimer's
Rich
kick.
Poor?
Are you okay?
Do you
Are
think
okay? That's
Carl
the
or Rich Poor would win in a debate? Who do you think? Because who do you guys got?
You said that one guy. That's
I think maybe Rich Poor. No, I don't know.
So
I think that Rich Poor has better rhetoric to Carl than Carl does in such a way that I think that Carl just kind of has the posture where he always like kind of sounds like he's going to lose.
Now you remember his name. So
I think that Rich Poor would probably beat Carl. That's what I'm thinking.
That's the
But okay, some
Alzheimer's.
people in chat are saying that they have Carl, so I get.
Dude, I don't give a
share.
fuck about chat, dude. You couldn't even beat me. Why would I care about your chat? They definitely can't beat me if you
Yeah,
can't.
you're
beat me.
right. I didn't beat
me.
you. I dematerialized you. You're no longer in existence after what I did
Why
to
would
you.
I give a
On
fuck
point
about
after
your
point
chat
after
when they look
point,
up
right?
to
Like
you
we
and you couldn't
humiliated
even
you,
beat me?
and we dissected you. We dissected your worldview, and all you
Your
can do is
chat,
wheeze. You've been reduced to wheezing.
your chat looks up to you, and you couldn't even beat me. So why the fuck would I care about your chat
You're
when
right.
you
I
couldn't
didn't
even?
beat you. I disintegrated you. I erased you from the timeline. Even, you know, I put you back into your dad's balls. Is
This
what
is
happened to
embarrassing,
you.
dude. You've got dog walk. You have a good day. People are messaging
Okay.
me saying you cooked Ian, you dog walk them. This is you
Name
embarrass
one.
yourself. You have
Name
a good
one.
day. They're in my DM right
Name
now.
one. Okay. All right. You left. Screenshot one, and come back. All right. Well, make sure you're double tapping on that screen, sharing it with your friends, doing the good stuff. Let's read some supers. Ray, thanks so much for the super chat. My favorite way to defeat tag is to run a parody argument. Watch them acknowledge the fallacy, thus arguing against their own views. True. It is funny because it's like so easy to run the parody. You just say, well, you know, I believe in the fucking, I believe in the evolutionary process that gives me reliable sense data. And then what do they say? Well, do they say, oh, how do you know that? That's circular. Well, you use your senses given to you by God to arrive at the knowledge of God, so it would be circular on your view too. And then you walk out, right? Like you just obliterated them. Ray, thank you so much. Appreciate it. I always love when people try to argue against B theory by just presupposing the truth of A theory. Truly an intellectual titan. You think all moments exist, but so you think the future relative to now exists? Reductio. That's a reductio. That you think the future relative to now exists, given the fact that you think that all moments exist. Brutal. Unrecoverable. JM, thanks so much for the super chat. Right back at ya. Ray, thanks so much for the super chat. Cooked on B theory. Now he wants to move on. Can't blame him. Should have moved on quicker, in my opinion. Kane, thanks so much for the super chat. So passage of time is an illusion similar to self. I don't know if I'm bought into the self as the illusion stuff, but the specific name of the view is that you want to say that you're like an idealist about time. You think that time is mind dependent. Rewind. You want to say passage is mind dependent. You're an idealist about passage. That the coming and going of moments in time, that's a mind dependent phenomena. All these times are real, but the coming and going of them, the appearance of them coming and going, that's mind dependent. It's called idealism about passage. Ray, thanks so much for the super chat. His pastor told him that atheists presuppose naturalism. Now he's confused. True. But even like not even all naturalists or materialists, right? You could be like a naturalist and be like honestly like a dualist even, right? The only thing you couldn't be is a supernaturalist. Aloe Emporium, thanks so much for the $2 on YouTube. Appreciate that. Ray, thanks so much for the super chat. Strivite stones are even worse. LOL. The kidney makes them and they become infested with bacteria and destroy your kidneys. Why would God do this? It's because he wants you in heaven, and the only way to get you, you don't get the angel treatment, right? You don't get the angel of death coming down to touch you. You get the fucking infested kidney rock that kills you. Fuck you. Oh wait, here's what I'll do. I have tons of supers to read, but I am ending stream, so I'm dropping a new video right now. It's titled "I Use Superman to Explain Why the Trinity Doesn't Make Sense." Do you think Clark Kent and Superman are two persons or one person? Why would God turn over control to Satan?
He didn't turn over control to Satan.
Did Satan put him in the cuck chair? Yeah, sure. So then Satan beat the fuck out of God, it sounds. Hey, how's it going?
Oh, snap. You actually let me up. That's
Yep.
crazy. Hey, what's up, man? My name is Ian as well, just letting you know. So
Whoa, that's cool. Whoa, Ian Solidarity. Yeah, what religion are you?
I don't believe in religion because all religions are biased to too many opinions. I'm just straight up relationship with Jesus and just
Yeah, go check that out. Go. I'm sorry, I started watching it myself. It was such good content. You guys should watch it too. It's gonna be great. It's the one. I remember this guy specifically. I remember that this debate was. I remember that this guy was incapable of engaging in good faith, and that he got like totally fucking decimated. Many such cases. But you guys should all go check it out. It's live on my YouTube right now. I'm gonna finish reading super chats though. Ray, thanks so much for super chat. Ian's rhetorical hog is up in his lungs. That's why he's wheezing. Yeah, it's so far down. It went down the wrong pipe even. Right plate, thanks so much for super chat. Rich Poor is a well-known troll. Please drop him. I don't know. It's good content. Fact Junior Roll, thanks so much for super chat. Bro laughs like SpongeBob when he needs water. I didn't watch SpongeBob. You guys are gonna hate me. Spaghetti, thanks so much for super chat. I didn't know that weasels wheeze. If a weasel wheezes, how many weasel wheezes? There's a tongue twister in there, I think. Wheezing weasels wheeze very wrongly. Something like that. I don't know. Fuck all of you. Don't forget that. Never happened. Possum Punks, thanks so much for super chat. Calling him Calendar Man is way too generous. Bro is unnamed Joker Goon number 3. That's true. He's not even named, but apparently he is named because he's a well-known troll. Aloe Emporium, thanks so much for super chat. Caller is correct. I stood on a step ladder once and burst into flames. Oh, sure, I get it. That's funny. Spaghetti, thanks so much for super chat. 7 months, cool core membership. That's really cool. We have wheezing. Can Ian catch coughing? That dude was like coughing when he had to concede. You'll notice that the wheezing really toned down. He was like, when he was like begging for his ethos, he was like, please don't make me concede this. Please don't make me concede the point. He stopped wheezing. You know, it was an interesting phenomena. Sanguine Soldier, thanks so much for super chat. Hey, look, a Trojan source. Live and in the wild. True. Ray, thanks so much for super chat. Caller used bottomless stupidity. It was not very effective. Unending stupidity. JB T Ty 8VF, thanks so much for super chat. Ian for the win. Another caller revealed for their desperate dishonesty. You know, thinking about like the debate. Sorry, this just popped into my mind. I was saying like, who do we have winning? Carl or Richport 84? There's I harken back. This is so funny. This is like deep lore. Do you guys remember when Parker and Dean set up the debate between like Q-Top and Platform? Holy shit, that was so funny. It was like peak TikTok content. You get like the two wacko ops debating each other. Oh my, that was like elite. There must be a recording of that somewhere. Platform versus Q-Top. I don't even know what happened to Platform. Yo, they do have it. It's on TikTok live poster. Rest in peace. Parker plus Dean, Q-Top versus Platform debate from 4/30/24. Damn, I missed that. That shit was elite. Kara, thanks so much for the super chat. I legitimately thought this was a clip and not a live debate because I feel like I've seen this guy 100 times. I'm sorry. I feel like there's like certain names of people that come by every now and then, but I can't place the name to the face, to the voice, to the debate strategy. The Rapid Squirrel Sage, thanks so much for super chat. Wheezy had to switch to the coarse tuning argument. That's really funny. Yeah, it's coarsely tuned. It's quite robust, actually. It's like it's built like fucking Baymax, right? Like it's just like you got quite a bit of stretch to it. Ray, thanks so much for the GOAT trophy. Appreciate you. Thanks so much for the other GOAT trophy. Thanks so much for the $2 He breathes like RFK. It's like the fucking crypt keeper over here. Ray, thank you so much for the super chat. LOL, I thought you said IDF clinic, not IVF clinic burning down. I was like, why do anything? That's funny. Apparently they have, I don't know. This might be, I hope this isn't just like spreading like baseless fucking conspiracy theories. But I think I looked into this and it was like apparently true that when like an IDF soldier dies, that they'll go and like extract like the fucking semen from the corpse, that they'll like put like a rod in their ass to make them like expel the semen. It's pretty gross, but I don't know. I mean, I guess I don't think that there's anything. I guess I think that that's probably like the least morally wrong thing that takes place in the IDF. So, Dr. Fudge, thanks so much for the super chat. You're trying to do, or wait, sorry. You're trying to do this. You're trying to do that. Brother, they succeeded, you 64th wit. That's funny. Ray, thank you so much for the super chat. Bro loves embryos, but probably also takes antibiotics when he gets an infection. Life is sacred, huh? Yeah, it's all fine-tuned for life. Me, as soon as I'm in a slight amount of discomfort, can you find me the Pepto-Bismol? Dr. Fudge, thanks so much for the super chat. Carl versus rich poor is a question of you like whining or if you like grandstanding. Well, here's my I think grandstanding beats whining. I think that when you're like dog shit at debate like Carl and rich poor are, I honestly think that you could probably get farther than you should be able to just by grandstanding with a lot of confidence. Okay, I dropped my newest video. It's live on my YouTube channel. Go check it out. Go give it a watch. Go give it a, do you think Clark Kent, I already played this one. But go give it a like, go give it a thumbs up, go do all that stuff. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be fantastic. You're gonna enjoy it. It's gonna be an experience. Otherwise, if you don't want to watch the new video, who's live? It was so sad seeing Justin Blitz live yesterday. They looked like they were having so much fun. Fuck. I wish I showed up. I guess Monkey Boy's live. That's a good one. I'd plug Dean, but it's like, you know, does Dean really need my plugin anymore? Yeah, dude made it. Good for him. Oh yeah, evidence first. Mama Tai Chi? I don't know that one, but okay, sure. All right, I'm heading on out. See you guys. Have fun.